Big up, everybody. Welcome to your delayed match review for Chelsea 1, Manchester United 0. Ladies and gents, the season is coming to a dramatic close as it is still not set in stone whether or not Chelsea will be going into Champions League football next season. However, the next game will decide it. Chelsea must win. And if they do, they will be going into Champions League. And they're up against a team that they are competing for Champions League spot against Nottingham Forest. We'll be discussing everything, the meaning of this game, the result. Hey, listen, you smell that? That's the smell of victory over those rivals, Manchester United. And just for the sake of it,
every fucking time.
There you go.
Every fucking time.
Big up Casually FC, our fellow United friend. Big up to every single one of you in the chat. Big up to the panel. We got a starting panel of Scott, Real Chicken Nugget, Chris, and Oliver Twist with his Marcus Alonso regen, Mark Cucurella, Avi, and I myself, Marshall DVDX, here hosting the show for today. Big up to Daniel for resubscribing or subscribing to the membership. And big up to every single one of you in the chat. Smash up the like button if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here or you are returning here and haven't subscribed yet. Also, be sure to leave a comment in the comment section if you're watching this in the future. Check out the links in the description. And be sure to check out the memberships as we have 4 different tiers starting at 99p. All of it helps out with the channel and our growth. But I will say this, guys, just to start off the stream, apologies for the delay on the review. For those of you who follow on the Twitter or just were listening to previous shows, I'm also a musician on the side. I had a gig yesterday that I couldn't turn down. It was, a good gig last night. It went well. Unfortunately, because of that, the little time constraints, little conflict there, I wasn't able to really review the match yesterday. I did watch it yesterday a little bit on the phone, and then I rewatched it today. So I got a good little in-depth of the match today, or a match yesterday. So apologies once again for that, guys. But we're here to review it. Little bit more hindsight, a little bit more calm emotion. We kind of used to do it this way back in the day, but we preferred the more immediate match reaction, just more convenient at the time. But before we get into it, as always, a quick summary.
Mark, I will say your mic is actually cutting out if you want to know.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you for letting me know. It could be this guy. I listen, he says. Okay, I'll adjust that in a little bit. But yeah, guys, be sure to smash up. What am I doing? Oh, yeah. Match review. A little bit of a quick summary of the match yesterday. What I will say is it was a strong lineup. No striker. We had to put Tariq George up in the strike position. And, we'll talk about his performance. I don't think much was expected of it. But overall, that first half was a little worrisome. I think overall the atmosphere of the Stamford Bridge was very worrisome, to be honest with you. That's something we'll discuss afterwards. A change up in the lineup with Tosin coming in this match over a Chalobah, which I thought was interesting. Reese James starts off at right back, his first start in the Premier League for some time now. And yeah, no Romeo Lavia in the side, but he was on the bench. He did come on and make a cameo later on in the match. But yeah, to start off the game, Chelsea did start the game off really early, actually, with a chance. Caicedo running into the midfield, pulling out, 3 players, or tracking three players towards him, leaving all the space for Cole Palmer on that right-hand side. Palmer crosses it into a Nani Madueke. Perfect cross to Nani. When Palmer has time on the ball, he will give you those brilliant moments. And Nani just misses it completely. Over the top, I'm pretty sure it goes when he's like, maybe 5 yards away from the goal, maybe even less than that. But yeah, horrible miss from Nani. And Chelsea kind of in the beginning of the half didn't really have much control of the match. It was a little back and forth, just losing possession idiotically. Really frustrating match. Mason Mount was very frustrating as well. I kind of understand what it's like to play on the other side of him, but to be honest, I wouldn't trade that for what we have in Cole Palmer any day of the world. However, United actually managed to get in front for a little bit and score from a Bruno Fernandes cross to a Maguire, but luckily for us and luckily for our defenders paying attention to the line, we're able to keep Maguire offside, and the goal was taken back. Later on, we had a few chances in that first half. James had a brilliant volley that came in from the left-hand side of Nani Madueke, who had crossed it in, and a brilliant curler that hits the post. No chance that Onana was going to get to it. Then later on, Cole Palmer outside the box takes a shot. I thought this was going in. It was like a deflected shot. I thought it was going in, and I had already celebrated that it was a goal. And come to find out, Nana actually saved it, and the rebound comes on to Enzo, who was offside. But he's unlucky it was offside because he missed it by a mile. Again, very much like Nani, he missed it. Either he missed it wide. I'm pretty sure he missed it over the top. It just made no sense to me. As well as in that half, we had a little bit of a scare with Reese James, who had fallen for a bit with twisted his ankle or landed on his ankle weird, and I was a little worried that he wouldn't get back up. But luckily, everyone knocked on wood, and he did get back up, and he was fine. But a lot of wasted opportunities, wasted pass, wasted possession in that first half. It was sloppy. We weren't at our best. United weren't great either. The tide of the game kind of switched over to our favor a little bit more on the latter half of the first half, but still not good enough. Go into the tunnel, come out in the second half, and a little bit of a scare with Mason Mount. I think Diallo, who was quiet most of the game thanks to Cucurella, and Levi Cole, I'll give him credit as well. Diallo kind of crosses it in. Mason Mount goes to take a one hit shot, and it just goes wide. A little bit of a scare there from United. And as we go on to the second half, we're looking a little better. We're looking like we're getting more chances. And Tariq George gets into the box one-on-one with Onana, tries to dribble past him, and it looked like Onana had made contact and actually fouled Tariq George, and there was a call for a penalty. And upon looking at it, Onana gets to the ball before Tariq George does, before the contact was made, and it wasn't a heavy contact either. And unfortunately, the penalty does get taken back, and it's still 0-0 for Chelsea. But it wasn't too long after that Amad Diallo had a dive as well in the box, and he gets a yellow. But that almost caused a penalty as well. But luckily, VAR was on our side for that. Caicedo didn't even touch the guy, but I think Diallo was expecting Caicedo was going to go for a tackle. But yeah, it took a little bit. It took a little until like maybe the 70th minute for an opportunity to come. Enzo Fernandez wins the ball back. I think he gives it to a Palmer, I think, or no, he gives it to Palmer. Palmer then gets it to Nani. Nani manages to maintain the ball inside of the pitch, then crosses it over, switches it over to Neto. Neto with according to Reese, a bad pass to Reese, because Reese wanted to cross it to one touch, and Reese could have taken a shot as well. He had a big opening at the net, but rather than take a shot, does a roulette that leaves Garnacho pretty much without anything to do, and then a brilliant cross right on the plate for Cucurella, and absolutely good composure from Cucurella, gets it in. Our number 9, Cucurella, brilliant goal, 1-0. the bridge all of a sudden lights up. I stop hearing the fucking Bruno chants. I stop hearing the United chants, and then you finally start hearing the Chelsea chants, and the atmosphere lights up again. I think tensions were really high at the bridge, but luckily the goal gets the atmosphere going again. And yeah, like United go into their shell. For the rest of the match, we were creating chances. Nani, shortly after the goal, misses wide. One-on-one again with, almost one-on-one with Onana. Misses wide. I think Nani had a decent game, but outside of that, like the finishing, Nani, you got to work on that finishing, bro, because Jesus Christ, the amount of chances he missed today, we could have easily, if he had made his chances, or if he was more clinical, better finishing, easily could have been 3-0 up by this point. But yeah, it's not much comes out of United. Maybe one opportunity, Diallo shoots it, and pretty easy routine save for Sanchez. Probably the only opening Diallo had because he was locked up on his side. And yeah, I mean, some maybe controversial parts of the match at the latter half. Heaven on Gusto, a little bit of a foul there that I recall Augusto following through on Digne and him getting sent off, but there's a consistency again with the Prem and the refereeing where, I mean, Heaven gets away with it. To be fair, Augusto goes in 2 feet as well. Like, whatever. Maybe we talk about that. And yeah, you got the pitch invader that came in, Gusto being one-on-one with Onana, and Gusto just being absolutely horrible. Man of the match potentially for the pitch invader, I don't know. But yeah, it was a game. Again, one of those games where like we've just had no luck with United in recent years, and hopefully these last 2 seasons start to turn it around, because we haven't lost to United since the Pochettino first half or the first leg. So let's keep that a thing where that's the last time we lose to United, because this United team fucking sucks. We should have won by more, in my opinion. It should have been a much more controlled game, but United decide to turn up against us always. But yeah, that's enough of me yapping. But that's pretty much a summary of the match. Scott, we'll go with you, man. I know it was yesterday. It may not be fresh on your mind, but what'd you think about yesterday's game, man?
Shit performance, but we won. So like, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Yeah, like it's one of those where the game yesterday is one of those where like we've had debates before, like with with like when I remember having a debate where like after the Copenhagen game and the Legia Warsaw game of like,
yeah,
me and Prime and RSM and a couple others disagreeing of like, it's about the result, not the performance. And I disagreed in those games. This is the type of game where you can have the result and it doesn't really matter about the performance at the end of the day, because like we don't beat United, so to beat them as goods. It was two shit teams playing each other, like in terms of the way they perform, not positioning the table. I mean, a couple players turned up for us in a big way, the usual suspects. Some players didn't bother turning up. Yeah, like it was just at the end of the day, we got 3 points and we need to move on to Nottingham Forest. Like, there's obviously we're going to go more in depth in the game, but like that's kind of what it comes down to at the end of the day is like just get the 3 points and move, because it's still in our hands. We can still get top 4 or top 5. I keep forgetting, man.
Yeah. I mean, we could potentially go into third. I mean, I just want to get UCL. I don't care, but it does depend.
Potentially, yeah, just get UCL.
Let me be right about a Premier League prediction again.
I don't care, honestly. Like, just get just get in top 5 and it's calm, and then we can look forward to Champions League and hopefully Champions League type signings. Hoping to God. But yeah, like it just, like I said, just some players. Some players turned up, and some players didn't. Basically,
I felt as it. I don't know. I thought a lot did turn up in that game. Still, like I would say like the wingers, like that game. I wouldn't blame George too much, because I'll be real. Like George just felt like isolated, and obviously it's not his natural position. I wanted to put George into the wing and try now up strike in the second half, because I don't know how you felt that, Scott, but like I felt like George was just very isolated. He was trying to press. I thought his pressing was pretty good, what I liked about it, but like he couldn't really get involved in the game, what I remember anyway. But I don't know, but I thought Colwell, for example, was really good. I thought obviously Kukurea, man, like I think we can just acknowledge like this guy is the best left back in the world this season for sure. But yeah, and Reese James, you know, like obviously Reese James did wonders. You know, he hit the woodwork. If Reese James was a little bit back, man, that could have went in because that was curving like inwards. That wasn't curving outwards. That was curving inwards. So like it's just like his position. He wasn't further back. Unluckily, but like yeah, like Reece James, I thought Caicedo, obviously, you know, I think we all can say Caicedo was definitely a man of match Navy. I even thought Cole Palmer was like hit and miss. Like he was frustrating on the ball. Like yeah, I get like he's a bit slow sometimes, but he created 2 golden chances. The one to Madueke, the one to Gusto, but his legs had to turn to jelly.
I think.
So yeah,
I mean, on Palmer, like I think Nani was good outside of the finishing. Like he was getting in good positions, he was causing problems, he was getting crosses in. Like I don't think Nani was bad, but on another day, like he gets.
Nani was definitely better than Neto.
He was,
in my
but
opinion,
I think
yes.
He was, but I don't think it was like. I don't think that's the like. It's not a benchmark. I thought the thing like that Nani did that Neto didn't is when he did because. The way our wingers played in that game and just the way that tactically we were set up in that game, especially in that first half, and even that second half until we scored was fucking terrible. But the only thing that Neto didn't do is whenever he did go to the byline and cross, it was cutbacks. It was measured cutbacks of like trying to find someone 2 feet in the box. It wasn't just I'm going to hit this ball across the box at head height as fast as I can kick it and hope that someone is brave enough, not is prepared enough, is brave enough to put their head in the way. Because Neto yesterday absolutely stank.
Yeah, I didn't like.
I didn't think Palmer was good. Nani was okay,
but overall wasn't great performance.
Palmer's only good moments is the 2 assists. He probably should have had at least 1 assist. But those 2 assists or 1 assist would have masked a very poor performance.
Yeah.
Everyone from outside of the moron between the sticks, everyone from Caicedo backwards, excellent. Everyone. Enzo forwards, terrible.
Oh, Enzo, yeah, he's
not terrible, but like terrible is maybe a bit harsh for a couple of them. Like George and Noni, I wouldn't say were terrible. I'd say they were poor, but for differing reasons. Enzo, absolutely terrible. Palmer, just not bad, and Neto terrible. But then everything behind, like Caicedo, just I can't put into words this player.
Let's talk about it then. I mean,
I know you're gonna talk on Enzo, but I don't know. I didn't think Cole Palmer was poor. Like it's just him.
I thought he was poor, man.
For his standard, I thought he was okay.
It's not even standard. Like he kept killing outside of those. The 2 times he probably should have got an assist, which were nice. Kept killing attacks because again, just dallies on the ball is slow. Kept losing the ball in midfield. This dropping deep thing doesn't gonna press you for Palmer. It does not work, and this isn't on a Palmer. I don't think this is more on Maresca. We saw it against Newcastle as well. This Palmer dropping deep thing worked against Liverpool. It worked. It didn't work against Newcastle. It didn't work against United because of how high up they were pressing us.
Yeah.
So he kept getting in positions where he was under pressure immediately, was losing the ball, touches bad, passing off. Also, as a player next to him as well. But it's like in games like yesterday, he needs to play further up the pitch. Like he needs to play further up the pitch where he can cause more damage to other teams. Because the last 2 games, it has not worked when he's been dropping deep to pick the ball up. It's not working.
Yeah, well, that's where I think in yesterday's game, I think one of the things that it showed is that like Lavia really does make the big difference. Like when he's on the pitch versus when he's not on the pitch, like we look
more compact.
Lavia, for whatever reason, I can't explain it because I'm not a tactical, right? I need it explained to me. But for whatever reason, when we have Lavia on the pitch, we're able to cause more transitional chances.
It's like, because he's the most press-resistant midfielder we have. That's why. Like I know, obviously, he got caught for the
Newcastle one.
Yeah, the Newcastle goal he got caught.
The Newcastle.
But more often than not, he is the most press-resistant midfielder we have. So he has that half turn, bro. He's perfected that half turn, the kind of thing that like Kovacic used to have as well, where he's able to just turn on a dime, and like Enzo can't do that. Caicedo can sometimes, but it doesn't always work. It's probably the one element of Caicedo's game that isn't, world class top tier. It's the one thing Lavia's got over him, and that's the thing. He's the one that can break that press more often than not. And so that's how you beat that, and then how you open up space to be able to hit those transitions. The other thing that Lavia does is because he's so defensively sound, you can afford to have guys like Enzo and Palmer ahead of him doing basically the square root of jack shit defensively, because he's going to make up for that. And especially when you've got Caicedo in there as well, it just masks it completely, right? And so that's the balance you have to find at the moment. Now, my hope is, and some of this is hope, but my hope is when Andrea Santos comes into this team next year, you get the best of both worlds. You get kind of a Caicedo, but not quite as molded and a bit rough around the edges, maybe with a bit of Brazilian flair, but you get kind of a mini Caicedo of being able to do both ways. And then you get this possibility of, because this is something I want to talk about a little bit with Caicedo, of when you have him and Santos potentially in the midfield, you can have moments where Santos drops deep and he can do the defensive work and the stuff we praised Caicedo for this season, allow Caicedo to show a bit more of what he can do forward. Because you talk about that George moment, the penalty, or there wasn't a penalty. That's a Caicedo through ball. It's like the only time that we gave. It's the only time in the whole game that we gave George something to run onto, and it was Caicedo that did that. It wasn't Enzo, wasn't Palmer, wasn't Noni, wasn't Neto. None of these dudes. It was Caicedo that did that. He's the one that puts it through. So hopefully you have Santos. It allows them to do that. But then you also have the ability to what we did this season, where Caicedo drops a little bit deeper, and Santos is the one going forward, but he's got the ability to recover when needs be, and he's got the ability to cover way more ground than Enzo has. Obviously, you lose a little bit in terms of those like switches from play and stuff like that, but I'll be so honest, you saw it in a game yesterday. Like, Enzo didn't affect the game going forward, and he's doing nothing defensively. So I'm hoping that with Santos in there, even if he isn't affecting the game going forward as much, he is way better off the ball and like just helping the team in general. And also it means that you don't have to have a 3-man midfield or Caicedo inverted from right back, so you get to see Reese James in the team more often. And we see what he can do yesterday. So I think it just balances the team out way more, having someone like a Santos who's more well-rounded.
Well, I mean, with Enzo, like, I understand, like, I am in full agreement that he did not have a good performance yesterday. I also fully disagree with this, but also completely different positions, by the way. But in terms of like Fernandez, like, I can forgive a performance like yesterday, considering he's racked up a good amount of performances in a row since about like February now. And like, going back to the Lavia part, like when Lavia is on the pitch and Enzo is there with him, because he's so press resistant and because we can maintain the ball on the opposition side of the pitch, I think having Enzo, who is one of the few players that can like on a transition, just one touch, one pass the ball through or thread the ball, I think he's one of the few players in our team that can do that. I know Caicedo can, I know Palmer can from time to time, but like Enzo does this routinely. I think having that aspect to his game not there yesterday did hurt him. And I will say, it looked like from a tactical point of view, Mason Mount had a job of just fucking getting on Enzo's nerves and just being on Enzo the whole time. Enzo and Caicedo, to be honest, but Caicedo, being the beast that he is, just shoved him off of him multiple times. Yeah.
Is he the one who shoved him to the ground? One of them?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
But that's where I blame both Enzo and like both Enzos really, because like both of those guys, Enzo Fernandez especially, because he did play with him for half the season, and Enzo Maresca.
You continue, Scott. Do we know why Lavia was benched? Is it just tactical?
No, I don't know.
Or was there like?
I felt like.
Because I know he wasn't in training. I remember
maybe load management. Like just that's all I don't see is like load management essentially. But there's been no reason.
I felt like the man Janabi like forward just going to dominate the game as well, like in possession chances, and Reese is good going forward as well. Like, so you don't really need like force like 3 midfielders. Caicedo's obviously a player that's good going forward, or Lavia. Enzo's the only one who can really do it, I guess. Like, and he couldn't do it yesterday because he's poor, but Reese is good going forward anyway. So probably that.
I will also mention this, just to give some benefit of the doubt. Apparently this was a thing, and from what I did see, like, it looked like one of his eyes was swollen. I don't know if he got hit by something or pink eye or some shit.
I don't care.
Yeah, and Enzo was with
I quite literally I quite literally don't
I
care.
thought Enzo was
It
pretty
affects the
good.
game though. We can't deny it if it
They
is.
don't
a thing.
play.
Can I say I thought
I mean-
Enzo was still pretty good in the first 20 minutes when everyone was pretty much fucking up. I
He had
thought he's
some
the one
moments.
actually
He's had
tackling
decent games,
or
though.
passing it pretty well. Like a lot of people was fucking up the first 20 minutes, and he's the only one.
He was the worst
And
player on the
after
pitch for us.
I think you was chief
Uh,
among them, Chris, in my opinion.
He was the worst player for me. He was the worst player on the pitch for us. Outside of maybe the moron in between this. Who was worse than him?
I would probably say Neto.
I don't know. I don't think by the way he's.
Oh, I'll take the Neto argument. He was second
Yeah.
worst for us on the pitch.
No, I'm not saying he's definitely one of the worst. Like I'm not gonna disagree. It's just the
Wait,
first 20 minutes I thought he showed up.
Are you referring to Sanchez because of the long passes again?
Yeah, bro, this guy's a moron,
I
bro.
don't
This guy's
know
a
why
I mean, he wasn't
Oh.
tested. He
I
wasn't
didn't
tested
think
on his
about
block.
Sanchez as a
absolute, bro. He's an absolute like, bro. This, and this annoys me as well in terms of the Maresca thing of like,
if it's him or Maresca that's telling him to do.
yeah, like it's both of them because
he doesn't.
it has Maresca has to be involved. Maresca has to be involved because of the comments that he's made about Hermansen while at Leicester and Jorgensen while here.
Yeah.
In terms of if you play it long, I'll bench you. Sanchez is playing it
Yo.
long, and there seems to be no.
Oh, Sanchez slander.
Yeah, there seems
Came
to
at
be
the
no.
perfect time. I came at the
seems to be
perfect
no-
time.
Mark, there seems to be no ramifications to him doing this, so it has to be. Maresca has to have like it's both of them at the end of the day because part of it is.
You know what it is? I think Maresca just kind of said, put the fries in the fucking bag. You cannot play out the back. Just boot it long. I don't give a fuck.
No,
Like I would rather you have the worst long shooting percentage, the worst long pass percentage in the league, than to you literally coughing up, like putting the team under. Which is what I was saying. Every time that this man tries to play out from the back, his passes are so shit. They invite so much pressure onto us.
No, but there were times that where I understand that point, and I had someone raise that point earlier today. But where I did not disagree, but like it doesn't make sense to me is I understand that when you're under pressure. There was moments in the game yesterday where he played a long ball under no pressure for no reason to no one, or off the pitch, and I'm like, bro, like I can understand maybe okay they're pressing you high up, you just need to clear it. What about when Tosin passes you the ball under no pressure and you hoof it literally to I think it was to Lindelof? Like that's not hoofing it under pressure. You're an
No,
idiot.
that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying though. It's not even under pressure. He just said, just stop
He
trying to
makes
play out the back.
unforced
You're
errors.
shit.
That's the difference.
Bro,
Exactly. He just said
full
stop doing
pass
this shit.
percentage- I need people to understand because me and Joey were doing a joke about this on Lewis's watch along. His long pass percentage in the first half was 2 from 9, and in the second half was 1 from 8.
You know what it is though.
He was
like,
3 from 17 to finish the game on long passes.
The biggest culprit 100% was Sanchez in that. But like I remember that first half in general was just so frustrating because even Reese got caught doing that. And like listen, I'm not gonna slander on Reese. I just want to call out one thing that's been really frustrating about his game and midfield is that I feel like he's way too confident on the ball. That like there's that. It's almost like he has the right back mentality, but in midfield where he's like holding on to the ball for too long instead of just 1-2 be quick on the transition like Alavia would be maybe. And
think
he
most
does
of all-
put pressure. Like there was a moment where like Mason Mount gets a ball off of him because he's just waiting on the ball too long, and you know I think that involves Sanchez at some point too.
It's
but
just like,
regardless.
I mean, you're not wrong because it's
No,
when
I
you
think-
play in midfield, you need a bit of a sense of urgency, but that comes with playing in
Yeah.
midfield for a while.
Yeah.
And I think the thing is as well with that is
This
that's
is
not just
frustrating
a
first half. Mhm.
that wasn't just a Reese thing. That was the whole team. That goes back to what I said earlier in terms of
Yeah.
we basically were playing. It was similar to the Newcastle game in terms of not the exact same. There were slight changes, but like it was similar in terms of we would play really slowly into like out wide to our fullbacks who actually in the first half played as fullbacks. Like they didn't attack as fullbacks, but we defended or had possession in a 4, which was weird. And then we play it into midfield, and it would be outside of Caicedo, the other like Palmer and Enzo were specifically the culprits. And this is where I go back to just how bad they were, especially in that first half. They would dally on the ball, like they take too long, they take too many touches. The first touch wasn't always good, so then they're getting pressed, particularly by Bruno. Like Bruno and Mount off the ball in that first half had the beating of them in terms of like they were getting to them, weren't letting them get away, like would just kept like into them straight away. And it's like, if nothing else about this United team, I couldn't tell you how Dorgu plays, how Mazraoui was going to play at wing back. I know Hojlund's a bum, but like I know what he's going to do apart from try and fight someone. I'll tell you who I do know about. Bruno and Mount, I could tell you immediately what they're going to do. They're going to press you like shit. Because I've watched Mount for 4 years almost at this point, and Bruno's just Mount but Super Saiyan. So I know what they're going to do. Right. So if I know what they're going to do, Mareski, you know what they're going to do.
But you know what though? This is where I do have some criticism in terms of the way that we started the game, where I was literally, you can even go back to the watch along that I did on my channel, where I was literally saying immediately before the goal, like seconds before the goal happened, no, like 30 seconds before the goal happened, I said, why are we allowing the pass to go from literally their half of the pitch all the way to outside of our box to Dorgu and Ahmad? That's what was killing us those first couple of minutes.
Yeah, they
Like
were
Reese
consistently getting their wing backs on the ball, and this is kind of part of the criticism of Enzo, I'd say, you know, where his deficiency in the midfield meant that as a unit, him and Caicedo, they weren't tracking the Mason Mounts and Diallos. The wing backs kept on cutting the ball back on the outside of the box, and granted it was pop shots,
for free, bro.
Still, you're tempting fate by doing that.
That's what I was saying, and it was unacceptable to me that you were allowing United to progress the ball from literally within their own half to outside our box with one pass, like from the center back to Dorgu or Ahmad on the outside of our box for a cutback. That's unacceptable. That's not okay, and that's why I was literally arguing with people, because they're like, bro, our midfield is getting ran through, our midfield is getting doggied. I'm like, what are we talking about? They're literally just passing it immediately to the wing backs that are holding the width, and nobody's there to press them, so they're just able to run in and do the cutback. And for me, that's where I agree with what Scott was saying, where it's like, bro, everything from Caicedo back, you know, barring Sanchez because he's a bum, we're doing their job. Because if they weren't, we were conceding goals in those first what, 20-25 minutes. We were conceding.
And to be fair, I will say, part of it was they weren't tested, because we spoke about this backstage. I just have to, like, Hojlund is the worst striker I've ever watched play a game of football. I've seen Sunday League players better than him. This guy, I wouldn't pay. Hold on, he cost what, 72 million? I wouldn't pay.
Makes me thankful for Jackson.
No, dude, he's not worth 72 million. If he had 72 million in his pocket, bro, he is trash, man.
That's why
Hojlund is the first DEI football hire I've ever seen, because that brother plays with no brain and no legs, bro. There ain't no way.
Dude,
bro,
I was saying
he's definitely a make-a-wish kid that got his wish come true or something. There's no way that he's a make-a-wish.
That's what I'm telling you. It has to be something like that, bro. It has to be.
Do you guys
He was the best center back we had. Like, guys, consistently just the ball got to him, you know, we gained possession back. It was crazy.
Boys, that's why I was saying the other day on the Chelsea Hour that if Hojlund can be sold for 72 million, there's no way in fuck you can't tell me I can't sell Jackson for 50 million.
There's no way in hell. But what I will say is they did sell him to.
It's Arsenal again.
It was also a bit of Ten Hag, you know.
I was gonna say it was also United who are notoriously awful at spending money. Like no one else is.
But you know what it was, Marshall. You do know the story, right? Like Hojlund, the people who manage him.
Him and Ten Hag are on the same agency.
Yeah, Ten Hag is from the same agency, so he most certainly got a kickback, which is why they overpaid.
Oh, well, look at that.
Oh yeah, because I was gonna say, brother, this is a man who scored. This is a man who scored 9 goals in the what's it called in Serie A? Like he's not. No one else is.
No one's spending. They had potential.
Bro,
yeah, cool potential. Who gives a shit?
Like now the potential's gone out the window.
First of all, he made Tosin look world class, and I am looking at my Twitter timeline and seeing people actually say, "No, our Chelsea fans really wanted to sell this guy." Bro, it's Hojlund.
No.
He bullied him the whole time.
Hold on. The best tweet that I saw about the situation was from fucking Griggs, and Griggs ended up saying every center back who goes up against Hojlund gets a fucking comp. Every center back who goes against Hojlund gets a comp, bro. That's all you need to say. It's exactly like hold up. Remember the joke we were making like a couple years back, where it's like every time a fucking winger had to go up against Trent, they would show up with a fresh fucking trim because they knew they would get their picture getting by him. It's the exact same thing, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
no, it was embarrassing.
I told you,
they're all legit League One players. Like Carlton Morris, the striker for what's it called for Luton. He got 11 Premier League goals, you know, when they were in the Premier League. He's better than Hojlund. He's playing League One next season.
Bro. No, hold up. Rooney. Right now, Rooney. At this age, would be better than Hojlund.
He might need to lose a few pounds, I can't lie.
No, because at least with the pounds, he can hold up the ball.
Yeah, he can,
Hold up. At least with the pounds on him, he can hold up the ball. Hojlund can't even hold up the ball.
I might ban this kid for just saying this. That's a horrible take.
Hey, no.
Jackson may have done something really dumb, like against Newcastle.
Say who did say this, and who, when I find him, will answer for his crimes. He won't watch this. He might do. Ziad, if I find you, you're answering for your crimes. This man said Hojlund over Jackson last season. I will find you.
Oh my god.
Bro, even last season, Jackson was clear.
That's stinky, bro.
It's also the value that paid when you pay 72 million on a striker like an Osterman or Yorkers or something. You pay 72 million for it. Like that.
Yeah, but can we be?
They did it for potential.
I want to be a little bit. Listen, I think Hojlund is trash. He's definitely bottom of the barrel. I think we can all agree to that. But I do think, United did really fuck up his career trajectory, bro. I still do not understand why they made him. And listen, I stand by that. I actually stand by that because, he should have, United, when they brought him, he should not have played for them that first season, bro. He should have been back on loan at Atalanta, actually learn how to play, continuing to improve his game, and this should have been his first. And that was the problem, bro. Like, you should have sent him somewhere else on loan, but he would have learned his craft, because that was the fundamental problem with him. You put him into a team, such a high scenario, much like he did with Jackson at Chelsea, right? Where he was always on some level doomed to fail, right? If that makes sense.
Ahmed, when you say go on to loan, do you see a player for 72 million going straight on loan after that?
I mean, for example, listen, I don't really care
It's kind
about
of
that.
weird when you think about it, Ahmed. Imagine
No,
paying for
I
a
get
player
that,
and, like that much.
No, listen, I
It's
get
the value
that, right?
what like
I understand. Like, look, I think the value argument's fair, but we also need to be realistic.
No,
about
I heard what
player.
you said. Like, he's not
Like,
valid.
I think we also listen here. We also need to be realistic about player evaluation, right? Player evaluation.
Bring up Winter Server's comment.
Yeah, I saw that.
No, we don't need to do that actually.
No, bring it
Hey,
up.
I got a little thing for you as well.
No. The other one. The newest one. The freshest
Oh my
one.
God, you guys are active in chat today. Fucking A.
Yeah, well, we're happy, I guess. A little
We
bit.
don't need it because my agenda worked on him. He rose to my challenge. He rose to my challenge.
He rose to my challenge. It's nasty work.
What? Disrespectful.
That's nasty work. Rose to my challenge. Yo, Ahmed, you're a shameless brother, bro.
Wallahi, man, the game's the game. Listen, if you want to play, if you want to go low, we can always go lower. But, I think, Tosin, man. Let me just say something about Tosin, I don't rate Tosin. I will never rate Tosin. I refuse to rate Tosin. On my soul, I don't
Respect
rate
your
Tosin.
elders. Respect Unc.
No.
Respect Unc, bro.
Tosin is 1 year older than me. Tosin probably was the 11 kid, that I used to beat up when I was a kid. Okay, let's have respect, please. No, have some self. Yeah, listen, Vision Nation, man. You don't have these guns for no reason, baby. But anyway.
What do you mean, bro?
No, listen, man. Anyone that makes Tosin look like he's the next reincarnation of Marcel Desailly, has no place in the sport, man. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? He was looking like Prime Desailly, but like a few inches taller. But
you know how nasty that is. This man, there's like, bro, Ahmed used the exact same words that people use to talk about racism in football. This man said there's no place for this in the sport. Like, Hojlund is at say no to Hojlund campaign, bro. Like, this man said there is no place for that in football. Like, it's racism. But he's talking about Hojlund, bro. This brother is trash, bro. I'm gonna cry, yo. He said the exact same language. Oh man.
I'd loan.
I'm gonna miss this if this is bad next week.
I actually wanted to say this quickly. I think Kafka's comment on Mudryk, that should have happened the season, the first season, like full season. They should have actually loaned him out.
But I think
to
he
Strasbourg.
asked that because of the same thing you just said with Hojlund, right? Like the 70
Yeah,
million
but
transfer,
remember,
the same
at the
money.
time, I always said that about Mudryk, even at the time. Because Marshall was
Ahmed's been a
lot-
heavy
lot-
advocate for loaning Mudryk.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Mudryk ones make more sense because of the amount of game experience and
Yeah, he had
time.
very
that he's
little.
So
had.
you can make
Yeah.
the same argument also for Hojlund. Hojlund only had
I think
one-
Hojlund had little as well.
Yeah, Hojlund had
did he
barely
get full
any
season?
experience. He only had
had
like
one-
it wasn't even.
Oh, he had a mid-season in Serie A. That's all he had.
That's legit.
Yeah,
all
I
he
think
had,
he
bro.
had, I think he had one full season at, in Denmark, and then
Yeah,
which
that's what
was
I'm
even
saying. Like,
Denmark. Might have been Austria.
it
Well, he had one full
yeah.
season somewhere, and then went to Atalanta, and then was a bench player, and then got signed.
Yeah.
He got 9 goals the season before. They
I
signed
don't
him.
know. I
That's
don't
what
know
I'm
how
saying. So
they
for me,
can-
like, again, if you just look at, I actually think Jackson might be a much better example for comparing Hojlund in the sense that both these guys, in the sense, were kind of in their third professional career seasons. If you want to make, if that wants to make sense, but obviously, I think Jackson had vastly sped up in terms of his production wise. If you look at what he was doing towards the end of Villarreal and the first season he had for us, whereas with Hojlund, it was the opposite. Hojlund was getting a lot less minutes than Jackson, by the way, right? As well, he was starting for a little bit, then coming off the bench at Atalanta. It was like a full on starting season for him. So
Anyways,
that's all it is,
listen,
man,
man.
in regards to that. But
Yeah, I was about to
this
say,
is
listen.
why before I let RSM finish cook, I just think here we sometimes, but we need to. I think when it comes to footballing recruitment, one thing I always say is that you need to make sure whatever the doesn't matter what price you pay for players, you need to make sure the development is as positive as it can be. Right, you're making sure you're taking the steps to improve the development, and that's one thing. Yeah, that United failed Hojlund at, in my personal opinion, and Chelsea to an extent. I would actually argue, even though Mudryk, we have failed him in that aspect as well.
I feel like most clubs in the Premier, well, most top clubs in the Premier League are failing that.
Yeah, I agree with that too, but even in Spain, I would argue, yeah. Listen, I know Yamal's doing well for them. Pedri's done really well for them because they're definitely wonder kids. But the problem with those two, for example, in my personal opinion, yeah, is that how you're gonna fill those guys is through injuries. If you look at Camavinga and Tchouameni, I love Camavinga and Tchouameni, but those guys have not developed day one since day one they've come through that door. I don't care what anyone tells me. Those guys are still the same guys in terms of what they do and the level they're at in terms of what they do. They've not improved at all. They're not even got up the next level that they do and what they could do.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hear the Jackson example. Jackson was able to step up. With Hojlund, I'm curious if it's because you got to take into account too. There is that United factor, like to an extent. Like I'm curious if it's the environment of Man United as well as to why he's been just so.
It's
so
like
bad.
that for a lot of clubs, though, Marshall. I know
It's
you
also
would
the
agree.
Prem too, because like it's not the first time I've been seeing him try to get an Oscar, bro. Like he's diving and getting pushed off the ball all the time. Like, dude, part of me also I wanted to ask you guys, like, do you think, because I thought it was weird that Maresca decided to just not play Chalobah and play Tosin instead.
I think it was for the heading aspect because we know who he is, because we know about that.
Oh, Maguire.
Yeah, Maguire. You saw what happened.
Oh,
right?
okay,
But
fair enough.
Because on
That's what I was
Chalobah,
gonna say. Do you guys think it was a tactical thing? Because he also bullied, like the whole entire game. Hojlund was just being bullied.
I think we knew that they would rely on the I think we knew that they would rely on the crosses and stuff, and Tosin is just better than Chalobah at dealing with crosses. That's just a fact. As much as you want to say Chalobah has other better attributes, I'll hear it. But I think it was a good call. I mean, Tosin did what he needed to do. He was aerially dominant over Hojlund, did what he needed to do. I have no complaints about that. Zero at all. Like I said, and I was saying this earlier as well. Like, I think passive. I think, like I said, I think there's two distinct games. I think it's the first 25 minutes and then everything else that happened after. Because everything after the first 25 felt as if it started from zero.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
that first half, bro, if it wasn't for Caicedo, by the way, I agree with Scott, bro. There was no passes going forward. Because why am I looking at our DM doing the deep line playmaking like I'm expecting Enzo to do? That brother was out here spraying passes, winning the ball back, putting pressure. Like, where was Enzo? Respectfully, like I know he might have had an eye injury, but
that brother Enzo was he was asleep, man. He was asleep, bro. That's what
Bro, I think he had what Ahmed had.
You happy,
I ain't
Ahmed?
gonna lie to you.
And listen, my
Yeah,
eyes
yeah.
only got white now, man. My eyes only got white now, man. I'm only at 25%
Yeah, no, I
white
think he
eye.
had what you
Wait,
had.
20%. Okay.
No, he looked like I saw not a screenshot, but during the game I saw his eye was swollen. Like, listen, we might want to say
I had
like no
conjunctivitis,
excuses,
man.
all that shit,
Probably
but
might
it
have
does
had,
make a
like, it
difference,
was.
bro. He
No,
especially with him,
like
he needs to have vision.
don't play then.
Then who are you gonna play? If you just said earlier
Lavia.
you're managing
Lavia.
Lavia's
You would have said
minutes.
Lavia, yeah.
You said
Amalgamation.
managing Lavia's minutes
Amalgamation.
earlier.
Okay, cool. Okay, Marshall. You either don't
Reese?
start him, you either don't start and play Lavia, or you take him off in the game. Why is he playing 90 minutes?
Yeah, 90.
Yeah,
Can I
he
just
shouldn't
say
have come off in
something,
the
yeah?
second half.
But he
I
also
just realized.
But he also wasn't absolutely terrible either. Like, I really don't think he was crap.
Yeah, he was our second worst player on the pitch, bro. Like,
I thought
'cause
first half he was doing okay,
part.
but then
He
second half
he
dropped
was
off
involved
really
with the
hard.
play that got us the goal with Reese James scored. Like, if Enzo
passed
doesn't
the
win his
ball,
challenge
Chris.
there, we don't get that goal.
so was Neto, and you said Neto was worse than him. So
Yeah. I
No,
mean,
Neto was worse.
I feel like his
Neto gets
impact
an
on the
assist,
game.
but good for
I
him.
think his impact to the game was quite limited.
I thought it
was.
This is me. This is me being kind of objective on Enzo. Like, I do think in this game it was really poor. I just think, yeah, I want to actually bring this conversation because we're talking
this is
midfield.
fact.
We're talking about midfield, yeah. Can I just say,
Sorry,
yeah?
you bring Gallagher into this.
No. I actually
Okay.
wanted. I think it's a formation change that might need to be happening for the last game. I just think, what, can we not hit the 4-3-3 in the last game?
Last game?
I
Why would
would
you wanna
like.
try that?
I'll be,
Because and
That-
the reason, wait, hear me out, please, tranquilo. Yeah. How else do you say tranquil in Spanish? No, all right,
Calma.
thank you.
Calma.
Thank you. Listen, and the reason why I say that, yeah, is that listen, big up to our boy Tariq, but I think Tariq, we saw in that game, man.
Yeah.
We're not making out the hood. No, for us. If him.
Ahmed, you know what? I actually agree
I would
with
do
you
it.
on this,
You know what
and
I
the
mean?
reason I agree with you as well, it's not even just a Tariq thing. It's because and going back to the
Yes.
Palmer conversation, I said this in the game on Lewis's stream. It got to a point where we were talking about subs, and I went, "Put Palmer up front because he's out the way."
Yes.
I'm not saying that about Palmer, you know, because he was pissing me off that much in terms of the dropping deep stuff and the getting in the way,
Damn.
like because the thing is it's like what I went back to go back to what I said earlier. Of like he is so effective in the final third, like him doing this dropping deep thing is cool sometimes when it works. When it doesn't, it's literally wasteful. Like it's a
Yeah.
waste of time. And so like because whoever we play up front against Forest, it's not like gonna be great in terms of like we can't obviously hoof balls and we can't really get crosses in. At least with Palmer there, it's like he could maybe drop a little bit, do the false nine kind of thing, still get on the ball but not drop as deep. And like
Yeah.
it's that
And
or play
also,
like-
and the thing is, Scott, I actually would argue you actually play Neto false nine, and the reason why, yeah, I'll be
Can't do
honest,
that,
man.
yeah.
Neto, man, he's, I had a joke on my stream. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna violate Neto. I'll call him zero IQ Neto because some of the
He was
stuff-
zero
some of the
IQ,
stuff
man.
Was zero IQ movement, man. I'll be honest, man. Winger IQ was at minus 50. Yeah.
Oh, it was. This guy is literally this guy. I said on Lewis's stream, this guy had a bet with someone. Can I give someone a concussion?
Yeah.
The speed at which he was putting those balls in, by the way, like big up to whoever was getting their head on that. By the way, they're getting concussed. They're getting a full football to the face at like 40 miles an hour. Sorry,
yeah.
like
Bro, even bro,
trying to take someone's head off.
bro,
Yeah,
even
that's what
even
I mean.
Nani, even Nani understood that you just have to do low driven crosses. Stop
Yeah.
with like
Yeah, like for me,
Bro, do you know
I
what's
just
mad?
would
By the way, sorry, before you go, we could have had Osimhen in that team, and he's breaking his nose again. He's legit going to break his nose with the mask on if he heads that. Like you could
Bro,
put any striker outside a crouch in that box, and they're not getting that ball. No one's putting their head on that.
Yeah, I just listen. I think for me, you play Neto, Palmer, no matter way, you can still play the left wing. If you want to play Sancho there, I hear it still. It doesn't matter either way for me who plays on the left wing, right? But then the reason why I say this, yeah, you're able to unlock a lot more stuff from the Caicedo as a box to box, Enzo box to box, right? And then you have Lavia holding that for you, and then you have the natural four. For me, I actually think, yeah, from just an attacking perspective, it helps us a lot more. And I think defensively, we can still do what we usually do anyway. So I just think for me, that might be a bit more of a perfect situation for us at the end of the day, more than anything else. And I'm pretty sure people would agree with that too, in my personal opinion. That's for the last game of the season, bro. You just got to go and win, bro.
I would say
interesting.
4-3-3
It is
with
tricky.
Enzo as a 10 maybe though, because I don't know,
Mhm.
changing the shape like at last game, and imagine
No,
Enzo
because
Messi-
I think for me, it's
if
more
Enzo
so.
Messi changes the shape completely like that and we lose, it's on him, and he
Yeah.
is gonna get a lot of stick for that game because like it's so in our hands to actually like cross the
I know,
line.
I know. It's
And
in
all
our
we have
hands,
to do is
but-
just play our game like we played against Newcastle, Liverpool, Fulham, like even like the type of like performance against United, man. Like we obviously got stuck into that as well. So yeah, like I don't know about changing formation or shape of it. I still played like the three midfielders, Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo, because I think them three work really well. It gets
But then
Enzo
if you
playing
do all
better.
those three, someone's got to get dropped in it. Like,
No,
You guys
well, I
doesn't
mean,
like
realistically, one of the attackers, I would,
I think
because Enzo would be like more of attacking player anyway.
I would think just drop George completely. Just
I agree.
put-
That's what I'm saying.
But I just and not to say because he's bad,
Bro, because
I
we
just
got
think-
Sancho back too. Remember, we need to play George because we
Exactly.
didn't have a winger
So,
backup either.
I would put Sancho on the right and have Neto as strike just to keep Palmer in that 10. Like I hear it and all that, but I just don't think shoving Palmer in the 9 position is the solution.
No, you play
I
him on the
also-
right if you want to.
Play him
You
on the
actually-
right wing, bro.
you
Play him on the
could.
right wing.
But
Yeah, I'd do
then,
that.
yeah, I mean, he also we haven't really done that this season.
We
Maybe
have.
once or twice.
At the
Yeah,
start
but
of the
this
season,
is-
man. Start of the
right
season,
now-
man, you
It's
go
tricky, it's tricky.
But right now we're in the go home or go big situation right now, bro. That's the difference. I don't
Could be.
argue, right? Like this is a
Yeah.
this is a must win. Like you get,
Yeah, I mean it is.
Yeah, we can't
Yeah.
afford to even draw still.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, no.
That's why. Like it's
Unless
a bit more.
Aston Villa bottle it.
It's a bit more different, bro. Like I think that's why you have to do it.
Mhm.
If there's any time to do it.
Yeah, it's a really weird scenario. Yeah, like
Wait, so we're saying, hold up. So we're saying there's like 0 chance that we might see Mark Guiu.
I
Uh-huh.
don't.
I'll be
think
honest,
he
man.
would
Mark
be-
Gui, man. The
it would
game's
be his
over for Mark
first
Gui, man.
minutes.
Certainly not.
It would
I
be
wanna
his first
see
minutes
him-
back from training. I just don't think he'd start.
He would have came on. I feel like he would have had to come on against United to actually have any hope starting or whatever against.
I mean, this is
Nottingham.
right. Like Alexis is saying, like this all falls on like Jackson. This is more.
Yeah,
about
he's
his
doesn't-
like,
no, this doesn't
But
all
for the
fall
striker
on
position, it has fallen.
No, it
on.
doesn't. It doesn't all fall on Jackson. Jackson's a bozo, like 100%. But
Yeah.
why the fuck are you? Why have we got one senior striker?
Okay, well, yeah, that too.
Yeah,
aside from that,
I
like,
do agree on that.
I'm
No, but
talking
that's what
about,
I mean. Is like
what
yes,
we
like
have.
80%, 70% of this is on Jackson because he's a moron for doing this and like putting us in this position. But like, even if he is like, even if he was injured, suspended, like, why the fuck have you got no senior striker to back him up? Don't give me Hugh. Like we're debating playing Palmer false 9
Mhm.
because we have no one else to play there because we don't have another striker because these morons that run this club thought it would be a fantastic idea to not buy let me rephrase. I was about to say to buy one
Yeah,
fucking
okay.
player in January and it's for Strasbourg.
Yeah. Yeah. But I literally another thing that frustrates me about that Jackson thing, you know what I saw on the timeline? Last year, or I think it was last year, or maybe it was earlier this season. Jackson did the same fucking thing in a game and didn't get carded for it. Or I think maybe didn't get
I mean,
sent
you can
off
get
for it.
away with it, Marshall.
It's-
You can get away with it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like
We're
I
seeing.
think for me, also part of it was Jackson probably thought he could get away with it because he got away with it before.
Well, then
It's
that's,
the inconsistencies that piss me off. Like it should have been a red back then. And if he got a red back then, I guarantee you he doesn't.
It's
do it
almost like
again.
you remember when Kukurea got his hair pulled. Same team as well. Tottenham, like I think it's Van der Ven who did it first. No, Romero who did it first, and then
Mhm.
I don't know who did it second time, but like they did it again, and they thought they could
Yeah,
get
it
away
was
with
this
it. Like,
season, right?
like you shouldn't do it because you can get away with it. That's so stupid.
I think it was Bournemouth, right? Or
No, it was Southampton. It was Jack Stevens.
Yeah, man.
Was it Southampton? Oh, it was
Yeah,
Southampton.
it was Southampton.
You know, I mean, man,
Different type of shit.
Nicholas the fraud Jackson, man. I think the less said about him, the better, in my personal opinion.
You don't back him no more.
I don't want
Crazy.
to.
I
I
used
don't want to
back him
speak.
all the time.
You disowned him.
You know, I don't want to speak about him, man. That's not my. Not speak about. Him.
Nicholas Jackson.
I hope we're
don't
serious.
wanna- Like,
Sorry?
you know, I saw this gimmick here that he's got now with his nose. He's got a little nose. What's it called? Yeah, plaster on him.
The
yeah,
nasal
yeah.
strip, yeah.
Yeah, the
Bro,
nasal
listen.
strip.
Oh,
I was
Listen,
like,
listen,
you
listen, listen, bro.
Fucking wanker, bro.
It's not, hold up. It's not going to be Palmer false 9 is worst case scenario, bro. He's too skinny. He's going to get bullied. He's not going to do anything. It's going to be Neto false 9. Like, I think
I'd rather
that's
that.
safe to say. It's going to be
I
Neto
think it
false
might
9.
be. I just don't think he's gonna
We've
experiment.
seen him do it this
He's not
season.
gonna take the
like, a
risk.
few
That's what I'm
times,
saying.
And, he's
And
done,
Cuckoo
he's done okay.
is not. That's he's still. We're not seeing it. So
Nah, fucking Cuckoo.
Well, one thing too, to go back to what we were talking about with the frustrations of that first half against United. Yo, you know what else actually pissed me the fuck off? Was the lack of shots that we took at Onana from distance. I was getting so annoyed because you saw when Palmer did it, how Onana had the save. I thought it was a goal, but Onana had the save, but he doesn't capture the ball and he bounces it right at Enzo. Bro, we know this is Onana. We've seen him make multiple errors from that long distance shot where he just deflects it or doesn't parry it into the right area. Why aren't we taking more shots? Palmer, why aren't you taking more shots outside the box? Enzo, where are you to take shots outside the box? Like the fact that even Nani and Neto, you guys take shots outside the box almost every game. Where were you to do it this time? It pissed me off how many lack of shots we had towards Onana, where like we didn't make his job hard at all. Like I know Onana fumbles at least 3 if you're consistently peppering the goal. Like that annoyed me. And I don't know if any of you guys noticed that too. That was like it was frustrating you as well.
I didn't know that. So.
No, it was. But like, this just comes back to the whole, just all that we were doing in terms of just like going forward. Like that's why I said everyone forward from Caicedo, like outside of George, really, because like, he just wasn't getting the ball at all.
But also, I'm not
like,
putting that on George. He's inexperienced.
Yeah, that's I don't blame George really. Like he just wasn't getting the ball even when he made runs. It was the bozos behind him, like those 3 idiots that we had behind George. Actually, sorry, 4 idiots we had behind George. Like they weren't doing nothing. Like apart from Neto trying to concuss people, Noni doing up like bird. Like bro, by the way, there was someone. There was no. There was someone in Lewis's chat yesterday who put either a super chat in or something that said Noni must have, when he was taking shots, Noni must have had his bandana over his face like the Bird Box or whatever the fuck it was. Remember that? Killed me. But he was doing Bird Box shit.
He had just came out after the match and admitted he's got to train on finishing because, bro, you need to finish those.
That's great, bro. Like, yeah, cool. I don't care. But like, yeah, you had Enzo doing up ghost things and Palmer trying to dictate play like he's Jorginho up front. Like, no, it's just all of them. They're all morons. That's what it was. It was just them being idiots, like not taking shots.
But even with Neto,
and bro, I said this before the game started. Like the worst thing that United are worst at doing, by the way, is defending the cutbacks. If you look at the way that they've conceded the most this season, is they've conceded a shit ton on crosses to the back post and cutbacks.
But
how did they concede to Cucurella? That cross to the back post.
Okay,
I'm telling you, bro. Like that's the thing that they're worst at. So then I'm seeing Neto belt crosses directly into Onana's hands near post. For no reason,
twice.
Right?
He did it twice. It pissed me off.
Well, the reshot from range, how did that happen? Bro, come on. It was a cutback. And then again, because United are terrible at defending, nobody was there. Reese was alone for that shot. And we didn't try it again. This is what I'm saying. I blame the players a bit too. Because if you realize that something has been works.
For that shot to happen, bro.
But I'm saying, once it works, why don't you try it again and again? Like if you see crossing is ineffective, but the cutback is, start doing the cutback. Like I don't understand why you continue do like it works. If the cutback's working, keep doing it. And that's the weakest part of their game. I don't know, man.
No, I agree. And that's why like I go back to like, yo, this team, like I hope this season they learn a lot from the season because next season I need you to be able to be smart enough as players on the pitch to adapt your game while you're still in that half. Like you shouldn't have to wait until you get into the locker room to switch up tactic or switch up a strategy. Like as a winger, as a midfielder, as a striker, you need to be able to adapt to the game. If you see once things not working, try another thing. Like it seems like these players to a point, like, and this is, I'll even say this is a little bit to the detriment of having the like a system and a regimen way of playing where it's like, you guys don't break out or branch out or try to be more creative than what you're trained to do. Like, to an extent, you need to have a balance of it. Like, you look at, for example, Luis Enrique's team. They are trained to an extent. They have a system. But at the same time, like, Due, Barcola, Vitinha, they have those moments of creativity where they have to challenge themselves to think a little bit outside of the system to try to find a moment of brilliance, a moment of opportunity. Sure, if you completely disregard the system, yeah, the manager's gonna bench you, you're gonna get yelled at, and so on and so forth. But you should, like, I don't think Maresca's gonna get pissed off at you if you take a liberty here and there to create a chance. Like, I'm sure it's happened multiple times this season. Like, you look at the Newcastle,
no, but I think,
we all remember it. The
Marshall,
Palmer,
I think there's a reason for it. I think there's a reason for this, and it's part of what of like I've kind of reached the point with this team of like, and this is especially
actually no, Alexis is right. Alexis is right, by the way, guys. There's almost 100 of you in here. We could just, you know what? We need to smash up the like buttons. This is insane. This is insane. Almost 100 of you guys here, and you have not smashed up that like. Like we try so hard to give you smart football analysis, be entertaining. RSM is on his comedy hour right now. You got the Bridge Nation coming here, pop-eyed. Like, come on, man. And we're not at 50 likes. It is disrespectful to an extent. Alexis, you're right, man. You know, I need to be a little bit more strict with my chat sometimes. But you know what? Just for the sake, I'll compensate. We'll get to 45 likes. All right? No, not this. Not this. But yeah, guys, smash up the like button, please, because it does help out the channel tremendously. And we are trying our best to give you good analysis and football takes and all that stuff, and engage with you guys as well. All right, Scott was saying something. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, I think the issue that we have, the issue that we have in this team, and it's mainly in attacking areas, and you see it with this season, is we don't have a spark in attack. Like, especially with Palmer doing nothing. Like, we don't have players like you talk about the Enrique team, and yes, some of that is like play it. And they do have that ability to like just turn up out of nothing, right? But the other part of it is like, look who they've got. They've got Kvaratskhelia, Dembele, Doué, Barco. Like, they've got guys who can create something out of nothing. Like, you look at when we had Scarry.
I hope this season they learn and from that.
Marshall. You don't learn that. What I'm talking about, you cannot. I don't think you can learn to the level of what we want, right? Like, because if you look at the best wingers on the planet, right?
Yeah.
Rodrigo didn't look like Rodrigo might have learned that, but part of that is like just him, Yamal, him, Vinny when he's on it. Like, Vinny's maybe one of, okay, he did learn it, but also he had sort of a similar thing at Flamengo. Like, for me, that's why like for me in the summer, a winger is of quality. Like, if we could end the window with getting Osimhen and Rodrigo, you can go and sign me a £20 million centre back, and I'd be happy.
Yeah, I think I would be too, because he's actually sorted out our defense a lot better. From like, I don't know how many goals we conceded last season, but we kept the same defense basically.
Oh, our defense is a lot better.
Yeah, I know it's a lot better. We don't back at the goal.
But you know what? Scott is talking about what in a lot of sports is called the maverick. That's what we're asking for, right? That's what Palmer was for his last season. He was that maverick in attack where we had, people in position, but because he was able to find passes, because he was able to move in certain spaces, he was able to make sure that the other players were able to be on the receiving end, or he was able to be able to make some sort of goal scoring action. We don't have that in anybody in the squad right now. If it's not Palmer, it's legitimately nobody else. Like, then it's once in a while kind of things, and I agree. I think,
I don't think you can teach that. Like I said, I don't think you could teach that to the level of we need it. Like, you cannot.
And you know what it is?
I don't know who it was. I think Mooley put it in the chat. You can't teach Neto to be Hazard. Like, I'm not teaching Neto to be Hazard. It's not happening. Not at this age. Not when he's 30. It's not happening. He will never be Hazard.
Exactly. So listen, the what we need, and this is what I saw like Maresca did in the second half, by the way, is he said we are going to leave 2 center backs. And both fullbacks are going to bomb up. We're going to go all out attack. And you see, for example, somebody like Reese James, who has that ability, who can be a maverick in attack.
Yeah.
Look what he did. Spun, didn't even look, amazingly weighted across into the box back post, which is what I was asking for, right? Either the cutback or the cross to the back post. Boom, goal. And at that point, like, you see that we have the fullbacks with the ability, but again, it's our attack that is the one who is not able to do that. They're too formulaic. They're not taking shots on target. The players are being too robotic, and I can't fault that necessarily on Maresca, because they are what I'm saying. They they lack so much in the creativity and attack, or to be able to make decision makings, that what ends up happening is poor players end up defaulting to the system. That's what poor players do. It hides their deficiencies. When the system is not there, when they have to make a decision, that's when you see what they're really made of.
In fact, can you go back to the comment you just brought up, because this is a good point to make. Everything I'm saying, because it counteracts our comment you just made about how many teams are Maverick players. The reason I'm saying this is because we have a manager and a system that is very rigid. It's very, very rigid and very robotic. It's Pep-like. Like it's Pep-like, as some people joke. And you see it again. I know that, like the Palace game today, the FA Cup final. Look at what happens with City. They don't have Mavericks anymore. They have Doku. They have Savio. They have like an aging De Bruyne, an aging Silva who looks past them. They've got a Haaland who's not going to do something unless he gets the ball. They don't have Mavericks. So when a team sits deep, when a team goes break us down, break us down from being like just through sheer force, they don't have the ability because they don't have a Mahrez, a Sane, a Sterling at his best. They don't have Agueros. They don't have David Silva, KDB at his best. Like when it's like I talked about earlier, Hazard. Like when we were playing under Sarri, as boring as it was sometimes, there were games where he would just drag us through.
You know what?
Because he had that ability, and he had the ability to, when we were being so robotic and rigid at times, he had the ability, and obviously it's Hazard. I know, like he's one of the best wingers we've seen in this league, but he has the ability to do something out of nothing. We don't have players in this team outside of Palmer, but he's so out of form, it's incredible. We have no one who can do that. So we need attackers that can do that. Unless you're going to change the manager and go to an Inzaghi or go to an Iraola who has a fluid system where it's less robotic, it's less positional play, and this has to go there and this has to go there and then there and then there. Unless it's fluid, you have to get a Maverick or two in this front line, because these players we've got cannot and will not progress to the level we want to get playing this way, because they don't have, unless they're going to improve levels and unless they're going to show a level of improvement that we are yet to see with some of them. Like it has to come from recruitment.
You know why he's not wrong, by the way? You know why he's not wrong?
Let me just
go ahead.
Quick, excuse me.
I get the Maverick argument, but I actually don't think the Maverick. I don't think it's about needing a Maverick, because realistically, we already have a Maverick in the team in terms of Palmer, right? I actually think it's about also the quality level, right, that we have in the team too, because we need that. That I think is another aspect that you need to be discussed. Now, let's not get it twisted. Is Madueke a good enough player for the level that we may need for the next level, right? Which is competing, competing, trying to win a title, right? That level of quality, do we have that necessarily in the team right now with Madueke? Even just trying to get top four with him, I wouldn't necessarily say so, right? I think it's a bit more of a 50-50 more than anything else. I think Pedro Neto this season has shown us that, at least until maybe he shows us again next season that he can do it, so far he's shown us he's not of the level that we were probably expecting when we were trying to bring in a guy like Pedro Neto to do his job, right? Now, some might say that might be due to, of course, the attack, the lack of a striker that we have in the middle that maybe suits him more and brings out a bit more than him than him. But as so far as from what we've seen right now, I would probably say we haven't seen it from him right now as well. I think Palmer this season has shown that he still needs time. He still needs to develop. This might be his down season, even though he still had a good goal output, good assist output this season, right? And then obviously the striker, Jackson, he's just not of the level at all. Let's just put it like that. At the end of the day, is he a backup for us? I think, in a realistic way, he's definitely a solid backup for the team, right? But of a starter quality that we need, no. So I think when I just look at stuff like that, then it's for me about, if I add the right quality, right, that can work in the system, but also they can produce moments of said quality themselves without the need of a system. That's where you want to be working with, right? Again, you've spoken about a striker in the team before. Again, another winger possibly coming in, right? Hopefully to do that job as well. And then I really do feel like, you change it. It changes a bit more. It's not about bringing in Maverick. It's about bringing in higher quality players than you currently have, because
I think they're linked though, because when I say Maverick, I mean I'm not talking about St. Maximin. He's a Maverick, but he's not of the I'm talking about when I say Maverick, And when me and Arsenal, I'm talking more of a quality. Like I'm talking to Rodrigo, Yamal. I know we're never getting him. It's just like I have like as an example,
It's
right?
an example.
Kvara, Dembele currently, like those kind of guys. Because yes, they're Mavericks, but they're Mavericks of a quality. And the thing is, I think going back to the striker thing quickly, I think yesterday for me is a perfect example. Well, not perfect, but I think was a good example of. I don't think even having a striker is the be all and end all. I think it's a large portion, but even though Georges wasn't a striker and isn't a striker yesterday, he made 3 or 4 runs and we found him like once. So like you put Osimhen in that team, and yeah, he's probably getting on a couple of the crosses, but he can make a million runs if he's not being found. Then it doesn't matter. And I think that was like you saw yesterday that I think like while 70% of our issues are a striker, there's also another 30% of like you just need to have, like you mentioned, Armin, like we're spoken about, a bit of quality in terms of pick your head up, look for the players. You know, Enzo, you can hit those balls. I know you can hit them. Palmer, I know you can do those. You do those. Why is it that Caicedo needs to step up and do that for us to maybe try and get a penalty with the one time you found George in the game, the whole game, the one time you found George with a running behind, and it's Caicedo making that, and we nearly get something from him. You know, Neto, why are you trying to hit crosses from the right-hand side constantly? Why don't you try and like feed the striker in when he made a run near post and you wanted to play it back inside? And it's the same to an extent with Madueke. He was a bit better at doing it, but it's still not good enough.
But and you know where I agree with Scott 100% on the quality issues. I mean, you look at this season, what happens to Pep's system when there's not the quality players in it, when the quality falls off, right? Because he still has KDB, he still has Gundogan, but they're worse. And look at how drastic the drop off has been when the quality just drops. Certain systems necessitate that in a lot of positions you have the best of the best, right? And with the way that Maresca wants to play, we can't afford to just have middling players week in, week out as our starters, because we will suffer, bro. We will suffer. So we need the quality players, and then the system looks a lot better. It's that simple. It's a quality issue at this point.
And I think RSM, the City point too, because I know someone made a point of like Rodri is their game changer, him being out. I don't think that's the issue with Rodri. I think that Rodri and Caicedo, I think, live in the same space in terms of they are the floor setters of their teams. Like I think if Rodri's in this City team, they don't drop as much as they do because I think he raises the floor. Like I think he stops them being as bad defensively. I think he sets a level, but I don't think he's raising the level of them going forward. So like he's not gonna. Him alone will not make them a title winner. Same as Caicedo alone, I don't think makes us a title challenger. You've seen it this season. He has played to a best in the world, best in the league, definitely, arguably best in the world level at centre mid. He has set the floor. So, like yesterday, for example, perfect example is the game yesterday. The reason we stayed in that game mostly is because of Caicedo.
Yeah, 100%.
And also, United is shit, but in terms of we had no midfield if it wasn't for Caicedo.
Yeah.
So he sets the floor of this team and go, okay, you're never going to drop below this because he sets that level. As long as you don't leave him on an island for, the whole season. Thank you, coach. But like, he sets that level, that base level. Same with Rodri. He sets that base level of like, as long as I'm in the team and I'm performing, you will never drop below it. But once he gets to the front line, it's like, they're the ones that are going to raise this ceiling and push it to where the title challenges or we're winning titles or winning stuff. And that's where the problem lies. Like, I don't think that we're going to hit that until we invest in the quality in the front line.
I mean,
no matter who we have in defense and who we have in the midfield.
I agree with what you're saying. Pretty much all of it. But I feel like there's a nuance that I feel like adds a factor. Because you say bringing in the quality players, and I agree with that. I do to an extent, and this is going back to Ahmed's point, and maybe I'll extend the question to you guys as well. I, to an extent, also think it is a confidence thing. Like, let's not forget that we went into a horrible patch of form before we came into this patch, where a lot of us on the panel, in Twitter, in the chat, were doubting that we were going to get, top 6. I mean, mind you, we could still fall out of it, but regardless, I don't think anyone thought we would even be anywhere close to it at this point of the season. And that confidence did affect our whole team. We shored up in the defense, and to an extent, our attack still isn't firing off like it did in the beginning of the season. But I'll tell you this. If we have a Nani Madueke who is fully confident on his game, and we have that on both of our wings, I would say like that is the maybe not the Lamine Yamal, right? But he is a quality enough winger that he can be a difference maker. He can be to an extent like that Maverick you're talking about. At his best. At his best. Like we're talking we're talking like a Wolves type of performance, like at his best.
Yeah, but I don't think. Okay, I don't think Noni at his best is going to be a starter for a team that wins a league title or challenges for a league title. And I like Noni.
But even with a striker, like a proper striker, you
No,
don't think that.
Actually, let me rephrase. It depends.
Yeah.
If Noni is the fourth best attacker in an attack, then yes. It's the same way I've said before that like I'd be happy going into a next season with a front line of like Rodrigo, Palmer, Osimhen, and if you had like Esteval on the right. Because Esteval in that situation is the fourth best attacker. He is the one under the least amount of pressure in that attack. So it's like, cool. If Noni is the fourth best attacker in an attack and under the least amount of pressure, yes. If we are going into next season where our attack is the same as it is this season with Osimhen in the front line, you're still seeing some problems. Because the thing is, I say, and where I'd push back on the confidence thing, because I hear the argument, but where I'd push back is he was confident after, like, he's had what 2, 3, 4 games at left wing at this point, playing really well.
Yeah, he's doing well. Yeah.
Goes into Newcastle playing the same position, horrible.
Disappeared. Yeah.
So it's not it's not just a confidence thing. Comes into this game, misses 2 shots. That's not a confidence thing. Like, and it's also
an ongoing thing this
season,
by the way.
I say it's also like
multiple times.
Using Noni for the confidence thing it seems weird because he doesn't come across as a player that's like lacks confidence in himself.
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing as well. I'm not saying he has an ego, but it's like he doesn't come across that type of player. And it's like the same with Neto. Like they're just patchy, they're streaky. Like Kishan says, they're inconsistent. I think that's more what it is than anything. And it's like I said, it's just a case of I think it's just quality. Like I think some of these guys, I think we have a lot of players who could be very good squad players for us, but they're not locked in starters. And I said this on a stream I was on, or a video I did a little bit earlier than it was out yet, where the number of players in our team I think you could say are unsellable. I think this says actually a lot in terms of the quality. I think the number of players in our team you could sell are unsellable at any price. You could probably count on one hand. So like, that's where I say of like, and none of them I think include our wingers. None of those players include our strikers. Like,
yeah. No, and
that's why I just don't think the quality is there. Because like, for example, if you put Rodrigo, Osimhen, let's say a Bisek, like, and then you add Santos and Petrovic, all of a sudden, there's at least 4 of those 5 you'd say are locked in starters and probably unsellable.
Sure.
The only one of an argument maybe, because I know some people are still unconvinced, is Petrovic, and even let's say 3, depending on the centre back, right, that you want to get. But that's where I say of like, you can't say that about some of our players, even if they're putting in good performance, you know.
And I get that. I just feel that, like, you know, moving this past Nani, one thing I will say on Nani, that yesterday's game made me realize, like, bro, if you can just polish up on your finishing, your I guess your rating as a striker, or not a striker, I'm sorry, as a winger goes up. Like, I just genuinely do believe that, because he does get himself in very good positions. He's our best dribbler in the team. I still believe that. Maybe an argument with Jaden, but he does get into danger positions. He does miss goals. Like, his finishing has been an issue this whole season, where it's like, if you were just better at finishing, if you were more clinical in front of the net, I truly believe Nani would be over. Actually, how many goals is he at right now? He's at 7, 8?
7, 8.
In the league or in all comps?
In league.
It's about
7, I think.
I would generally believe he'd be over 10 goals right now.
He's not over 10 in the Premier League.
No, I'm just saying, if he were to work on his finishing.
Oh,
if he
yeah,
had gotten that part down in his game, which to an extent, Scott's right as well about that. Like, sometimes with that finishing, it just comes naturally. But I do think you can improve on that. You can also, slightly get better. But there's a lot of it that comes down to just a natural ability. I do think if he works on that finishing, he's a 10-goal season in the league striker. Or I keep saying striker, winger. But another thing I wanted to bring up in this discussion as well is, does any one of us also think that this could potentially be the whole player restriction, the Maverick conversation we're having? Does anyone also believe this could also be the whole first year of a system tax, and maybe next season with other players with a season, under your belt of the system, maybe we see more of, expressing yourself on the pitch type of football with a combination of a system?
But you know why I don't want to fall into that trap? Because I think under the second year of a system, you can get better, right? We might go from being, ending up fifth, ending up second, but then we'll be stuck in the same fucking trap that we end up with Arsenal. And the same thing, same thing we said for Jackson, we said for Nani, right? You can only get so many, right? I think you can get better at finishing, but only at certain types of finishes, right? When you're finishing the type of easy chances, you can get better at that, right? But when it's a very close game, when you get a half chance, those are not like, you can practice those way less. That is more down to your ability, right? That's more down to stuff that you can't necessarily train. That comes down to experience and ability and talent. And I think if we fall into the trap saying like, oh, these players will get better second season, we're falling to the Arsenal trap. If we with right now, if we just get better quality, we're challenging for the league. That's not me bullshitting. That's the numbers. That's the fact that we were up there until December. This is not me pulling this out of my ass out of nowhere. The numbers are there and the facts are there. And if we had better quality, we're challenging for the league. I do not want to fall into the Arsenal trap of saying we're gonna get a slight upgrade here. We can get this person and they'll improve this. Like, no, bro. We are very close because we have somebody, we have Palmer in the 10. Hopefully he gets better next season, right? Which we return to form. We got Caicedo, you feel me? We got Cucurella, we got Reese James, we got Lavio. We have enough in the midfield for me to be confident that we can do something. Because if we have Sanchez in goal and we are still somehow the third or fourth best defense in the league,
that's so true.
That I'm telling you, we're only a couple pieces away. I don't want to fall into this trap of doing these side grades or marginal improvements. Get me the quality players now, and we will win now. We're in a win now situation. We're not in a win now later. A win later situation was 2 years ago. This is now a win now situation. And this summer, we need to get UCL, and then we need to back the team because we're in the win now situation right now.
Yeah, and that's also to say, ladies and gents, that like I'm not saying let's not improve on positions. I would in an ideal world, I do want to improve by getting one winger, right? One like good quality winger. I want to get an actual striker. Let's see. I think the midfield we're pretty much set in. Just bring back some of the. I think we have good midfielders
we got Santos coming as well. Like
Santos, we have options in the midfield. So I think we're pretty much okay with the midfield. I mean, in the summer, in the Club World Cup, we'll see Isugo, like Santos, like we will see, right? But I'm pretty sure we're okay in the midfield.
We got
give me a center back that's gonna like, and I don't know because. I don't want to do what RSM literally said not to do, but Levi Colwell has been stepping up these last two games. I don't want to forget what the majority of the season was, right? But I can't rely on Fofana. Fofana is our best center back. I can't rely on him.
Yeah,
fit. Give me two center backs. I need two center backs that are going to be fit. Yeah,
I think keep Chalobah and buy another center back.
Well, let's be realistic. Chalobah's not going to stay. I don't think
Chalobah's
going to stay.
Can I ask you a question? Because someone
Chalobah's
asked,
going to get sold.
Marshall, can I ask you a question? Someone asked me this the other day, and I said it earlier. Would you do this basically? Buy Osimhen and Rodrigo, but you only have about 20 million to spend on a centre back.
That's fine. That's more than fine.
Okay. Let me rephrase that. You've got Osimhen, Rodrigo, and you buy a centre back for max 20 mil. Would you be happy coming out of that window?
Yes.
He would.
Yes.
With all the other, when I say that as well, with the other additions of like Petrovic, Santos, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes. Because did you know that the most difficult thing to do in this sport is score a fucking goal? So if we solve that problem, trust me, everything else can be makeshift. I'm telling you right now.
You know why I'm hesitating to say yes is because I'd be happy, like in your scenario, I'd be more than happy to just have Petrovic be my number one. That I'm okay with that. And considering we're gonna get Santos, Esugo, all the business that we've already done, I think we have depth in the midfield. The thing is, and I don't. That's not that I don't rate Rodrigo. I think I would love to have Rodrigo in this team. If it was actually realistic, which I don't know, it might be. I haven't done the news. I've been working on a news show. If it's realistic, then he's on my number one choice easily. But and Osimhen, obviously number one choice. Like I'm happy with Osimhen. But if I had to pick between Rodrigo and like a fucking good center back, that's where I'm like, I feel like I'd rather just go for the center back because I think with a good striker, I can get away with Neto, Sancho, Nani, just create chances for me for the striker. And that's where I'm like hesitant. Like, I think I'd be content, but I would still be worried about the center backs. I think I prioritize a center back more than I prioritize an attacking winger or a goal scoring winger.
I mean, I definitely hear the centre backs. We do need another centre back, but like I look at our defence this season, we got Cucurella, Reese James. He's getting better with his injury record, like from this season. And then like I think Colwell, like he had a good start to the season with Fafana. I still think he's picked up the last 7 games or so, like especially last like 4 or 5 games. He's been really good. He's been using his body frame pretty well, like reading the game pretty good. None of this like bullshit of like stropping around the field when he thinks he's got fouled or something, because that really pissed me off when he did that against Man City. But like we haven't conceded nowhere near as hard, like as much as last season with the same defense, so they're definitely improved with a different manager. So I would go with Scott's because like I don't know what we're going to get from like Sancho. If we do keep Sancho, right, I don't know what we'll get from him because he's a very inconsistent player. He can be on it, you know, like, you know, he can be like, you know, the Tottenham game when you want to shoot and score or just do something instead of just dribbling around and passing it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I think Nani Madueke is a solid player. I would keep Nani Madueke, and that's a really good offer. Came like 60+ million, and then I feel like, you know what, you can't refuse that, Navy. But like, yeah, he's a solid player, like great player to have in the squad. But I would say we need like that goal scoring winger, and if we're gonna keep Cole Palmer as a 10, we're gonna need a Rodrigo on that wing or something like that. That's how I view it, though.
It's tough. It really is tough because, like, I don't know. I really do believe like our wingers haven't been that bad. It's just we just don't have anyone that can take advantage of the crosses, the chance creations that they have. Like, you know, you say Sancho has been inconsistent, and I don't necessarily disagree. Like, I would love Sancho to have more goal output, but at the same time, like, Sancho does create chances. Like, Sancho does dribble past defenders. Like, there's just no one in the box to find the chances he creates. And our wingers do suffer from not having a proper striker. Like, it's nice and all when Jackson's in the attack and he's linking up play and maybe creating openings and all this stuff and you know, transition and all that. But when it comes to finding yourself in the box, our best box crasher, or the guy who can find the best positions in the box, is Cucurella. Like, you can't have that. You can't have that. And of course wingers are going to suffer from that. Especially when we have creative wingers like ours. Like, Neto is a creative winger. He's not a goal-scoring winger. Same thing goes with, you know, Sancho. Like, that's why we're talking about Nani as highly as we are, because that he's our best goal-scoring winger. Rodrigo does bring you goals easily. Like, that guy creates and he scores goals. He's fantastic. But do I trust our defense? Mind you, our defense has been good in the past, you know, 10 games, I would say. It's actually been better since the turn of the
second half of the season. It's improved.
Second half of the season, it's improved drastically.
Yeah.
But I still remember a lot of the stupid goals we conceded. You look
but
at
half it's like Sanchez though. Like, yeah, you look at Sanchez and Man City.
I mean, Sanchez is a big factor. I can't.
Like,
you know what?
That guy is a complete
like,
bozo from the back.
So maybe like the Sanchez factor is weighing heavily on my opinion.
He's the biggest weighing like anchor in that like defense area. On the ball, like I will say Sanchez cannot. Sanchez can save good shots, but like his passing ability, what fucks us, or his brain, where he just runs out for the sake of running out and then stopping and freezing. So
stupid Superman.
His bad passes and his poor long pass percentage means that we're inviting pressure,
Yeah.
and that's
he
not
does
good,
that.
bro.
Yeah. I mean, Scott, what do you think about that though? The center back or winger,
Say again.
debate. What do you think about how I felt about that center back versus winger option?
I just think it's easier. The problem is we need both, but
Yeah.
I think it's easier for us to hit on at this point. This is on a random centre back than a random winger. I don't know. The thing is like I just think I look at us in attack and it just goes back to what I said of like we just missed that bit of like magic and game changers. And I mean, you see, I just keep going to go back to City. Like you can have an unreal striker in terms of an elite goal scorer. If they ain't touching the ball, or they're not touching the ball in good spaces, it means fuck all. It means nothing. Haaland today did nothing. Did absolutely nothing against Palace because he didn't get the ball in the right areas. Because he's not going to do anything. And obviously, I don't know if Osimhen is as bad in terms of like not really doing anything in build up or
ability-wise. I haven't seen too much of Osimhen doing that well though. It's just like his heading ability, his striking ability, his pace is what makes Osimhen a good striker. So,
but yeah, so I just don't know. Like, I look at what they're doing. I look at what we're doing in attack, and I just don't see that, that game changer from out wide. Like, I just don't see it. And so that's why I want someone. Like, I wanted Kvara, but we decided not to do anything. He's now at PSG.
Kvara would have been such a great addition.
Hey, CP, what
Kvara was a fumble, not just from us. It was from every other serious sporting institution, bro, that didn't sign him. It was a fumble, bro.
Yeah.
It's a fumble, from everyone. And the thing is like, it's a fumble because you didn't even try. Like, he might have still gone PSG, and that's cool. If he still goes PSG, but you asked the question, there's nothing more you can do. We didn't even ask the question. No one did.
And I think funny. It's funny you say this too, because I feel like now everyone watched what Barca did this season, and they look at that player, Lamine Yamal, even PSG to an extent, the Doué, and I feel like that is weighing heavy on like everyone's like decision on how to build their team. They're like, yo, we need to get like that winger, like that.
No, but I think we do though, because it's not even just about the winger. It's also the Barca thing is actually a lesson in terms of like having or building a team or having a system that fits players. Like not Rodrigo, Rafinha spoke about it. Like, he wasn't happy with Xavi. Like, Xavi would take him off 60 minutes every match. Doesn't matter how he was playing, 60 minutes every match. And it's like under Flick, he's just he's more positive. It's just better for him. You see, he's been made captain this season at times.
Yeah.
Like, he is the system, and not even necessarily just the system, but the whole vibe is better. And like, maybe some of our wingers could get to that level. I don't think they will. That will require a manager change. So we're either talking about changing the manager or changing the personnel. Because unless they're going to improve to a level that I don't think they can reach, I could be wrong and I hope I'm wrong. I don't think they can reach. Something has to give. Otherwise, we're not challenging.
Yeah, I do still think, like, in an ideal world, both, obviously, right? And I do think, like, this summer we should improve on that position. I mean, mind you, people are saying Esteval. I don't know what to expect from Esteval, considering the kid's 18. It's his first season in the Premier League. Like, we need to see what he's gonna do. Like,
I have zero expectations and then be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I know the kid's talented. I know he's doing bits in the Brazilian league, but this is a different, ballpark in terms of what the Premier League does to players. Like, we literally just talked about how Hojlund got bullied, and he's not even just against Chelsea. Every team, like, this guy can't stay on his feet. Like, the physicality is way too much for him. So let's see how Esteval adapts. I mean, unless anyone wants to talk more on the game or on Chelsea, I kind of do want to bring up the FA Cup game that just passed.
Yes, let's bring up the FA Cup game.
Oh, wait, one thing.
Wait.
Big up my dog Caicedo, bro. That's all I gotta say. Big up my dog Caicedo.
Before we bring up that game, I think the Esteval point that I think's been mentioned again. Esteval was here again. I don't know why I keep on doing this, but like, I feel like we need to realize this guy is a young lad. Okay, you're seeing a lot of players have failed in the Premier League. Okay, if
Mhm.
anything, yeah, I don't listen. I know for some people, obviously, he's considered a wonder kid, which he is, and stuff like that, and I get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we need to also temper expectations, and realize the age that he is, and maybe it might be better, right, from a developmental standpoint, right? Maybe at Strasbourg for a season, come back into the team the next season after. We've seen
Savio was the best winger in the league, bro. Look where he's at right now.
Right. Again, you know who I like to use. You like to use Savio. I like to use a player that's actually one of my favorite players that everyone here does not like. Doku is a good example of that.
Yep.
Right. Doku is a great example of that because Doku, when he came from the league into the Premier the Premier League, he had a really great season. Listen, he was good the season before, but he was injury prone this season. That was his real first full season. Remind you of someone that we've just spoken about that plays for Manchester United, right? In terms of right, and then he comes to Man City, but Man City, he gets thrown in straight into the walls, right? And then the manager does not help him out in terms of any development, right? As well, if we're being honest a bit, right?
Yeah.
And you're seeing how he looks right now. Savinho had a great
he's
season
in later games. Like,
he's
he has been
improved
a
in
little
later
better.
games, right? But
it's not. Yeah.
But
it's
you know
not
what the
the
point I'm trying to
levels
make, right?
Yeah.
The development should have probably been happening since the beginning of last season, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Ideally, right?
He should
Because
probably be
lost-
having a season like Doué's having.
Exactamundo, right? And funnily enough, they both come from the same team, Marshall. That's what I have to do, right? Same team, right? That's the point I'm just trying to bring up. I think of Esteval, ideally, you need to make sure who do we have in front of him right now, is going to be key. Because if you have a guy on the right wing, that's Pedro Neto, that's doing, if he's still doing the 0 IQ, and he's still doing like he's been doing this season, he's going to get thrust into the limelight. And maybe, for all intents and purposes, because he still needs maybe a bit of time, because we need to give the Premier League respect and himself, that respect too. Yeah, he hasn't performed that well, right?
No.
And that is that could be a real scenario if you don't obviously like strengthen in that position. There's always a reality, right?
Yeah, can I? So go ahead, Amir, my bad.
No, that's just the point. I'm just trying to say we should try to temper expectations to him in the sense that we need to give him. We don't want to be like. I don't want people to be like so high on him that if he has like one normal bad game because of like the age range he's in. Yeah, I'm hearing.
No, I agree. I definitely agree with you. So all the people in the chat, you all are chatting shit because you never watched him. You're watching highlights. I literally have watched him from last year and watched this league since Neymar in 2011. First of all, Neymar moved when he was 21, not when he was 18 in Santos. So everyone putting in the chat, but Neymar did well in Barcelona. He was 21, was in a Club World Cup with Messi, balled out there, and then he got his move to Barcelona. So first of all, that's the first thing. Yes, his numbers are amazing. Literally, Lewis had his first dream on him, and I told everyone, I usually crash out on young players, but this is the first player where I'm happy with. And once again, all I'm expecting, the most I'm expecting is get me 5 goals in the Premier League, and you've done your job next season. That is all I want from him. If you can give me 5 goals, I'm not even counting what his assists might be. Just give me 5 goals in the Premier League next season. I will be satisfied.
Just show out in the cups, bro. Show out in the cups.
Yeah, just give me 5 goals in the Prem because you're a rotation player. Yeah, because you're a rotation player and that's all you need to be. Just get me 5 goals. If you get me 5 goals, you're on pace for what I expect. So everyone's saying this thing about Neymar or whatever. If you can get me 5 goals and if you can get me 10 GNA, you've done your job for me. Because if you're 18 coming from the because as people have also said, Rodrigo and Vinny didn't pop off until their 3rd season in the Spanish
league.
Also,
trying to compare Neymar going to the Spanish league and Esteban come to the Premier League is stupid. Because if Neymar came to the Premier League, like yes, he's obviously going to do something. I'm not saying Neymar would be shit, but he's getting clamped something different. He is getting ankles broken. Like, bro, he's going to get a Lewis Dunk, Ben Mee, James Tarkowski type tackle to his kneecap if he tries some of the shit he was doing in La Liga.
But Scott, it's not even that. Guys, brain cells, what team did he join? He still had the last year of Iniesta. Xavi was still in this team. Rakitic was in his prime. You had Suarez come in that season or the season before, who was in his prime. You had like almost prime. I would say prime Messi is probably 91 goal season, so close to his prime Messi. You literally had the last dying embers of a prime Barcelona side from the late 2000s to early 2010s. That's the team that Neymar joined.
Also,
People who had won
Neymar-
trebles were like experienced.
This is why,
you're
by the
comparing-
way,
Also, even then Neymar start at Barca wasn't like a fairy tale thing. People were frustrated with him when he first got
the
to
first
Barca as well.
season, Yep, they
He
were a
said it.
bit-
He even said himself the first season, bro. He like felt like he was crying. He felt like he wanted to go back to Brazil. He felt like he wasn't enough. And it was like Messi and a lot of other people had to talk to him and say, listen, man, just play your game. Like, be comfortable, do yourself. And then he started, his first season wasn't breakout.
the thing is though, this is why like, a lot of the stuff I'm saying right now about Esteval, I know everyone here agrees with, right? But this is why I have to also look at the club and if you want that process to happen, the guy that has to be in front of him in that position has to be very good or elite, such that the limelight's off the brother. He can do his thing with time, right? But you need to make sure whoever's in front of him is good. That's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make, and that's what I'm looking at the club and like, guys, lock in please on the positions
I
that you're
agree.
trying to make.
No, I agree with you because this guy TR questioning my thing. Yes, you're saying you know people in the 80s watching him. Yes, but you guys are doing the overhyping thing and putting too much expectations on a kid because you know why? Because you saw his highlights. I watched this kid since he debuted in their version of the FA Cup last season when Endrick was still there. And I am telling you, he is special. He is the best talent since Neymar, but Neymar didn't move to the Premier La Liga at 18. He moved at 21.
He was the thing about Neymar.
And by the way,
3 years
and
more
by the way,
experience.
in Brazil, he was part of a team that in Brazil people rated Gonzo higher. If you guys who know who Gonzo was, and he was the playmaker for Santos in the same team as Neymar.
Yeah, and he failed, by the way. He failed.
Yes. And Brazil thought
Yeah.
he was the left-footed Kaká region. I remember this.
Didn't he go to Sevilla, right? He went to Sevilla because I actually watched that.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I remember.
He did. He eventually went to Sevilla and failed, and some other clubs, like because he had that horrific injury the season after Neymar left, and that's what destroyed his career basically.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I'm saying, people. He is a special. But please, for the first season, I don't care if you're saying the other wingers are shit. I agree the other wingers aren't good. That's why I'm more on the train of Scott's thing of I'd rather have a Rodrigo than a center back. You know why? Because I know Rodrigo is at least top 5 in his position, as long as same with Osimhen. Because in terms of center backs in the world, there's no center back available right now that I can think of that's top 5 that's available. So I'd rather lock in 2 positions that I know are top 5 guaranteed that I can lock in right now. And then maybe next year a center back emerges or is free on the market, which we can approach. But if I can get a Rodrigo, who's been in clutch situations on an Osimhen, that's basically my front line covered for at least 6 years. My front line is my 2 pillars of my front line. If you don't want to put Cole Palmer in the right wing, are done. And then my right wing, if Esteval breaks through, great. If Palmer's in the right wing of it, there, great. But 2 of my pillars are good.
I have to ask this question, guys, because this is something that's been confusing me a bit more. Now, listen, I feel like I don't know about you guys. The transfer news you've been getting, I do believe a lot of it. Oh wait, yes, it does stink, but I think a lot of that has to do with the situation in which we do not get UEFA Champions League football. I don't know about you guys. That's the theory that I've been having for a little bit in terms of some of the positionings. Like I think for me, if you look at Delap, if you look at Sesko, if you look at others, I feel like those are the type of guys you can get with or without UCL. Does that make sense? Like then getting UCL for me is not actually. Well, listen, I don't care.
Well, not Sesko.
Is it? Well, listen, I feel like maybe the club is thinking if you don't get UCL, you could probably still get him. I feel like
that's why, bro. That's why he's leaving. That's why he's leaving Leipzig, bro.
Yeah, no. But listen, I understand that, but I just feel like the way they've been, talking about stuff, the way they've been reporting about stuff, it feels like to me those are the non-UCL guys, right? That's just my opinion. Obviously, I might be 100% wrong. which I usually am sometimes with a lot of this stuff. But I think for me, if we do get UCL, I think the general assumption has to be, right, and I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with this, that the level has to be going a little bit more up, surely, right? The level surely has to be going up a little bit more, right? I'm not saying they have to go like boom to boom, but I don't think that's going to happen at this football club, as the rule. But it has to be some level of increase. Like it may not, it may be a little bit, but it's not going to be to the level of Rich. Yeah, it's not going to be like, you know, going for a great of all time. Does that make sense? But like, it has to be like a level increase, if that makes sense.
I don't disagree. I could see that point of view. I think another perspective of it could be also because we have such a short window until Club World Cup, which, by the way, ladies and gents, let me tell you something from the supplier point of view, from someone who works in the beer industry and works for one of the company, it distributes one of the companies that is going to be a major sponsor of the tournament. Club World Cup is going to be huge. Like, this is a big tournament that is going to be here to stay, and it's going to be, I could see in a decade or two being just as celebrated, maybe not just as, but as big as Champions League, as big as World Cup, right? They're putting a lot of money into this. That being said, I think part of it is also trying to get things done for the Club World Cup, but also not having enough time to sell enough players to get the targets you want to get. Like the big targets you're talking, like the Osimhens and so on and so forth. Like, I think that plays a factor in it too. I'm not saying you're wrong. I do think it could be precautionary because we don't know if we're going to get UCL, yada, yada. But I also think it's, okay, we have a small window that we can actually do business for the Club World Cup. And you're probably more inclined to buy players than sell because of depth.
But wasn't there a report that, if I'm not mistaken, Chelsea could lose £300 million, and they still wouldn't have breached what's it called, PSR? Wasn't that a report that came out?
I haven't been keeping up with the news.
I feel like there was a report that came out recently which said that, right? And so
I'm in April news. I'm catching up.
This guy, man, back in the
catching up, though.
You know what I mean? No, but like
curious where
but like there was like I remember reading something like that where it was like, I can't remember who said it, but someone did say that, right? And so for me, it's like, if that is the case, then I'm expecting big signings, bro. Yeah, in terms of like the side that you can still make the big signings happen.
How would we lose 300 million, by the way? Is it if we don't make Champions League football? You're saying?
No, because like I think just like something that was being mentioned, and listen again, I don't trust these guys because they said this last year to you, and they were like, we've got stuff lined up for ourselves, right?
We do.
So if you right,
I think we do.
No. So I know, but they were trying to say. Remember what they said? We've got stuff lined out, but we've got to get stuff done before the Club World Cup, right? By the end of June, the main things that we want to get done will get done. That's what they've said, right? Yeah. So if that is the case, then I'm expecting a lot of big signings to be completed quite soon. Like listen, I know the league ends next week, but like by the week after, I'm probably going to be hearing about 2 signings already in the door for Chelsea if they're moving that fast.
And you know what? Like, onto what you're saying, like if all goes well, we make Champions League. That's what I'm saying. That's what I said to Scott last.
So you look at Liverpool, by the way, Marshall.
There's no excuse. Like, I saw what the deal with the Mac was and what they're doing with the Mac. Yo, there is a lot of money in that. Not only that deal, whatever sponsorship with Jordan, if that's gonna happen next season, you're talking UCL money, the Club World Cup money, depending on how far you get. Bro, there is so much money going into Chelsea next season. Like, I don't know how you're gonna like compartmentalize it and all this stuff. I better not hear about debt next season. I better not hear about, oh, we don't have money for players. Because if I do, I am going to be flippant. Because there's no way you're making all this money from sponsorship, from tournament, the Club World Cup, from UCL.
Winning the trophy.
There has to be money next season. There has to be. There's too much revenue being made if we make into UCL. You're making too much
money now, big man. You know what I mean?
And we didn't really spend much in the summer.
The problem is, I actually, I'm not willing to hear this other thing, the merchandise comment from Chelsea, because I know for a fact, when it comes to merch sales, this club does the business of merch sales, bro. Because you got clueless guys, like my own brother, that just decided to buy the home and away kit, bro. Yeah, so if listen, you know what I mean? So
Clueless
I
kills me,
know.
bro.
You know what I mean? I just know.
Yo, he just
I
crashed it on his own brother, bro.
Listen, I just know. If he's doing, listen,
Bro,
he's
at least
reason why.
Ahmed's sticking to his guns, not feeding into the
Yeah.
problem, right?
Like,
So yeah.
I'm just being honest in the sense that
I don't
listen,
consent to that.
yes, I don't consent to that personally. But like, listen,
No, what the comments said.
no. But like, the point I'm just trying to make is just that he's what I consider to be like a normie fan, right? He just loves the club. He doesn't really care about the others. He doesn't really focus on the outside noise, right? And if he does that regularly, I think in a general situation, the reason why I'm using him is that I think the general fan base is probably doing that too, right? Where they're just regular fans and stuff like that. So I do think from a merch standpoint, this club is making a lot of money. This is not me snitching on my brother. I'm just using him because I think he's an easy example to use of like a regular fan in the fan base, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, but you're not wrong either. Like they're making money off of the merch. They're making money. Like I am catching up, like I said. But if it's true, in player contracts this year, we only spent 200 million because we amortized everything. Bro, if we get far into this Club World Cup, if we win the whole thing,
hey, if we win it, man, we
we're
bought
already making 170 something. If we win it, I'm just saying if.
Yeah,
Like,
if we win it.
It's a big, miracles could happen, Scott. We
Yeah,
could win it.
This whole notion early on in the season that Chelsea are in debt. No, bro, there's money being made. There is money being made. But speaking of money being made,
Oh, that's a good point by Demnon, by the way. He made a good point. Remember, our wage bill right now is 20. It's only at 25% technically for a lot of players who are at the club. Remember?
yeah.
So it's gonna go up by 25%. So 25%. So
Bro,
something to keep in mind.
I'm just saying, bro. After I saw that the mock video, of what they're doing with the Chelsea residencies, I'm like, no, there's money in the club.
Sorry, Chris, I have a question. So
Yeah.
would you, of course, no, because I just noticed. Don't worry, Chris. Don't worry, it's going to be connected. So we see 20% if we get Champions League. So would
25 is
you,
25. It's not 20%.
25. Okay, thank you. So would you do a new contract for Reese James where it's incentivized by chest traps? Would you incentivize? I got you.
That's why I said, why are you asking me
I got you,
questions?
Ahmed. I got it.
Hey, give him a new contract, man. How much is he on? 250. Like, get Champions League football and 300k.
I know Chris has got that on his second screen somewhere. Yeah, just VJ's in a twist.
Hey, Ahmed, talking about Reese James, man. Tell me about Reese James not making crosses from those type of angles.
Listen, again, I have hated on Reese James from an injury standpoint. I've never doubted Reese's quality.
I remember I got like laughed on by you saying Reese can't make crosses from those type of angles. I guess he did it this season.
So
remember,
the first one he did.
No, but I'm just saying, like he
Also, by the way, Reese full 90. This is a Reese full 90. He didn't get subbed off.
Oh shit, you're right. Reese did a full.
Reese full 90, bro.
And people thought he's down and out at half time.
Yeah, I did. I admit that, Chris.
And people are like, why isn't he bombing up and down every? This is why, so he can play actual full 90s. When people were like, oh my god, none of this invert. No, hold up. Those comments, no, those tweets were like, see, none of this inverting nonsense for Reese. What are we talking about?
Achievement unlocked. No, platinum Reese James. You have to. You platinum
the full night against Newcastle. Come on, man. Yeah, like this is the first game, man. This is not the first game. It's the first game in a while.
Chris, this is the first game he's put a full 90.
He did in Newcastle.
No, Chris, there was literally a stat.
No, there's no way.
All right, prove it.
Yeah, he got subbed off for Newcastle.
No, wait,
he did.
There's no way he has not done a full 90 in the Premier League this season.
He has not done a full
He hasn't done a full 90.
There's no way.
I'll check right, bro. I'll check right now for you. I'm checking right now.
I'll bet 3 chest traps that he this is his first.
Yeah,
he did in Man United and Newcastle earlier. Like before
he
got
gassed
another.
at the end of it, but he did a full 90,
he
but
did a couple.
This is the first.
That was
one.
It's been a while now. Yeah,
Yeah,
since
been a
it's
while.
like return from that injury. Yeah,
His last full 90 was literally in February, bro.
I just wanted to show on your parade about that.
Oh, maybe it wasn't.
That's
Newcastle,
disrespectful.
It was another one. But speaking of money,
Can you do me a favor, by the way?
What?
Can you bring up Calm's comment? This is factually incorrect, by the way, and a simple Google search would tell you otherwise.
No, Calm just believes all the negative Twitter posts.
No, you don't get it. You don't get it. You don't get it. There is a guy who knows a guy whose cousin works at the club who made an Excel spreadsheet over something he overheard that shows that the club is $2 quadrillion in debt, bro. We're in the mud.
I want you to know, Calm, with all due respect, bro. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with someone when I've had a ChatGPT answer given to me on Twitter.
Oh my god. No, that was peak. That was
Maple.
That was genuinely. I actually couldn't believe I received that. By the way, I genuinely couldn't believe I received a ChatGPT a reply from someone to explain Chelsea club finances. Wallahi, bro. Yeah, I don't use Wallahi a lot. That genuinely, I couldn't believe it, bro. Jeff. I couldn't believe it, Jeff. You know what I mean?
He told me about it. He couldn't believe it, bro.
Yeah, do you know how crazy that is,
bro?
ChatGPT
bring up a .edu or .gov or something .uk. You want me to go check tweets and check the finances?
Yeah, but where does the source go to? And you can't just rely on Twitter itself.
And you know, again, people need to realize ChatGPT is capped. I think it's until 2022, right? They capped it at a certain year of the internet.
No, 2024 November.
It's capped in November 2024, bro. So he's not even got the full stuff, bro. Come on, bro.
I don't know, man. Like some Twitter account.
My problem with Chelsea is that my thing with Chelsea is that again, it doesn't matter if we're losing money or making money. We need to realize this club probably is in a 10-year process essentially for this ownership. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit more because of like the stadium stuff and everything like that. But they essentially want their way of making money is selling the club at a higher value to what they're doing right now. Does that make sense?
That's all I said, ladies and gents.
Yes,
by the way,
that's all it is.
All I said is that next summer, if we make UCL, the amount of money that's incoming, sponsorship deals, like
yes,
I urge you. Like Eunice did a video on a little bit of the unveiling of the MAC residencies, the Chelsea residencies. Bro, what the MAC is doing is absolutely insane. And that deal, we're in cahoots with them. That's all I got to tell you. We're in cahoots with the MAC, and that is huge. Like what is going to happen with Chelsea because of the MAC and the global influence they have, it's a big deal. Whether they're shirt sponsors or they're sponsoring our stadium or something with us, the fact that we're in cahoots with them, I'm telling you right now, quote me, clip me, Chelsea have a lot of money coming in the future.
And also, just to add your comment to Khan's comment, we know why we're 150 million higher than us, bro. We don't even have. We were meant to get money from a front of shirt sponsor, which is fixed, which we've not got any money. That's like a good a good third of the money that's not there. There's like another 2/3 of money that we have not been able to do because we've been flipping chief executives, right? If you don't know, right? So a lot of this can actually be logically explained as to what's been happening. It's solely like the club. Yeah, listen, I'm not trying to back the club here, but from what we know, at least coming from them once more, they have got a lot of deals lined up for themselves, sponsorship wise, club related wise, and everything, hinging on just making the UEFA Champions League football. You know what I mean? This is why, again, if you've been watching the streams, if you've been watching the British Nation, everyone here knows that the club have always been saying they want to make top four. I know there's been this bullshit from Raska at times interviews. No, not top four, not top four. Not top four.
I think he doesn't like to put pressure on the players.
I don't think you probably want to put any pressure on the player, but that was always you had to get it no matter what, bro. It was a no matter what, bro.
And even if we're to believe in Raska, then kudos for him because apparently we're ahead of schedule, and the owners are probably gonna be happy with that too.
Also, some BS, bro. By the time we were literally sitting second at December, I know they were like, UCL's 100 has to happen now. Because remember, when we were sitting second, we got a ton of reports that we were negotiating at that point in time with a lot of front shirt sponsors. What happened with that? We fell down the table.
Just because we sold to ourselves doesn't mean we're desperate for money. That just means we're money hungry. It could mean two things. Like listen. One thing millionaires, billionaires do, they'll find any way to make more money.
Also, would you rather
to stop?
by the way, you do realize that there was a vote that was held to change the rules and it failed. What's to say it fails next time?
Just saying. We're not
Yeah, and
fortune
also,
tellers in here.
and also,
but
like
things
I
could
think the
change.
other thing also is just to go up to consumer about the pre-tax stuff. That's
Okay.
fair, but I think again, I think the idea has to be that this is a short-term thing, and then now the club has a bit more stabilized. You hope they get in Champions League football. Obviously, by the end of the season, the tide's probably going to change right now, right? Because you're going to be getting a big boost of money from just the Champions League itself. Plus, then these other deals you've been trying to sort out based on Champions League football, right? And then you're probably looking at a bit more of a solid foundation. If that makes sense. That's the aim. I would probably hope.
Now, speaking of money, all the money in the world, the transfer business they did in January couldn't get them an FA Cup. Man City, now the worst season they've had in a long time. Still up for debate. I mean, if I were a betting man, I'd probably bet that Man City do make UCL football, but it's not set in stone. They're up against.
I wouldn't bet that.
Yeah, I would probably bet that too, but it's not set in stone. They're currently sitting in 6th.
No, I said I wouldn't bet that.
Well, you wouldn't bet that because what's their
Bro,
next
they're
match?
6th. Oh, hang on. They're
They're currently
6th
6th.
currently.
They have to play Bournemouth.
They've played one game less. Yeah, like they have to play Bournemouth and Fulham. Villa have to play United.
Yeah. Wait,
I think Villa.
Bournemouth.
I think Villa. Like,
Fulham.
but this is bro. I'm
Bring up the Flamio predict right now. Marshall,
like,
do it.
bro.
Palace Nation. Let's go, my brother. Palace Nation, by the way.
Yeah, bring up the Flamio predictor because, bro, Villa.
Here,
I think get a win.
I'll put him the link.
I
Private
wanted to
chat.
say right now-
Private chat.
I wanted to
Private
say
chat.
for the person level, Palace Nation, yeah. Listen, Bridge Nation. He was watching the.
Oh, you're local, right? You're local.
That's not that's too far for me to be local.
Local.
That's like a
That's your local.
Ahmed's local, man. Ahmed's local.
that's a 30-minute drive, so that's not local. But
In America, that's local. In America,
That's local. That's local. That's local. Facts.
That's not local.
It is in America, yeah.
Yeah, that's in America.
Right, and
In
also,
the UK, man, it's not, man. It's too far.
It's too far.
Oh shit. Okay.
Bro,
It's not walking
I-
distance. It's not local.
I tell you what, bro. If what I just predicted comes true, that's 3 teams on 69 points. Nice.
Yeah, no. Plug it in. Literally, what he said, by the way, is it comes down to goal difference.
Okay, so
So I think
if
Villa beat
Chelsea
United. That's a guarantee. I say that they'll probably lose now.
Yeah, that's money. Yeah, that's money. That's cash money. That's cash money.
Let's put the fries in the bag, bro. Keep stepping.
Yep.
Do you see Nottingham
think-
Forest's owner crash out as well? Like, the
I
last
actually
game?
think Arsenal beat Newcastle. You know, I know a lot of Arsenal fans.
Nah,
have a
shut
lot
up,
of
man.
hatred.
Nah, shut
Yeah, all
up,
right, Ahmed. I just get,
This is nasty
wait,
work,
what?
you know. I got.
Alright,
You
bro.
gotta tell me,
just
man,
give him,
they could've
just
win.
give him the
You gotta tell me
W,
the
man.
wins, I have to believe I go, man.
Yeah, I think it's 2 wins for United. I think it's 2 wins for United.
Right.
I've said.
Newcastle
I've
United.
said.
You mean
Oh,
Newcastle?
Newcastle.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Newcastle United.
I was
Put
thinking
this
about
Ahmed
United.
guy in jail. Put this Ahmed guy in jail. He says we have to believe a Gal because the Gal said they would beat Newcastle. Put him to jail.
That's not
Perfect.
where you go, man. That's
That's
not
a
Somali
flaw.
brother. Can I not? I'm Somali brother. What's going on?
My Somali brother, then get your mans. How about
Do you
that?
know
Yeah.
what? Part of me, there is a small part of me, by the way, that kind of like would love Newcastle to lose one of those games because then it would be 4 teams on 69 points. It would literally.
Well, if there
be,
is
like,
if there
decided
is a
on-
game they would lose, Ahmed is not wrong. It would be Arsenal away. If there is a
100%,
game they would
yeah.
be to lose.
Yeah, they beat
Draw,
Everton.
you know.
Then I think.
I think City draw Bournemouth.
I was gonna say, I think the other way around. I think they beat Bournemouth, draw Fulham.
Oh my.
Either one. I think they're drawing one of the last two, bro.
They lost
Yeah, I
to
think they
Bournemouth
beat
last
Bournemouth
season.
at home,
Also, let me
but I
ask
think
you
they draw
guys.
Fulham away.
I need to ask this question. Hold on, let me look at the table real quick. Because I'm looking at it here, right? Is 7th place or 8th place
7th place is
Conference
Conference League currently.
7th
But
place is
eighth
Conference
place-
League.
But 8th place will get Conference League.
No, it won't.
Chelsea, the way 8th place if Chelsea win the UEFA Conference League, by the way. It will
No,
get this-
no. Yeah. No. But that's also given the fact if we finish 6th or 7th as well.
Wait, will it?
But
Yes,
that's why
so
I'm
if-
asking,
so-
because
yes, so-
Bournemouth has
if we
something to play
finish-
for then.
Yeah. So if we finish 6th or 7th, right,
Mhm.
then the Conference League spot goes back into the league.
So
Wait, say that again.
Bournemouth
The
has something
Conference
to
League?
play for because if
Okay.
Bournemouth win their
Yeah.
game,
So if we
might go
get
up to
6th, if we finish 6th or 7th in the Europa spots and we win the Conference League, then the Conference League spot goes back back down into the league. So 8th it becomes Conference League instead of 7th.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, and then I said,
Bournemouth need to win.
potentially, I still think they lose.
Yeah.
They might draw actually.
Wait, who's Newcastle got next?
Arsenal away. But again, remember,
is that actually? Well, yeah. Is that like tomorrow?
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
Yes.
yeah. But remember, Arsenal's gonna be fighting for the 2nd place cup, bro. That's their final right there.
Like, you look at this,
I think they
though.
might drop out second though. That's the thing with them.
You look at this though. City have to get at least 4 points from those next 2 games to qualify. Like if they lose either of those games, they're fucked.
Yeah, facts.
Mm-hmm.
If they
that's what I'm saying. I think they drop points against Bournemouth, bro. That's what I'm saying. I think they draw Bournemouth.
Like, then yeah, if they draw Bournemouth, cool. But then if they beat Fulham, it's fine because they'll get in on goal difference. But that's what I said. I don't think it's cut and dry because I think we beat Forest, and I think Villa beat.
Put Chelsea beating Forest because there's no permutation of this where we draw and make it to UCL. So
yeah,
You know what?
Who's
I think
predictions
West Ham.
for this, actually?
I think West Ham's gonna make it out of the hood. By the way,
but what does that mean though? Does that mean one or does that mean a dub or just 1 point?
I think West Ham can either win or draw against Forest. I'll be honest.
I thought a draw personally. I think it's
Okay. Let's do draw. Let's do draw because Forest aren't in awful form.
They are.
Yeah, and it said like this is what I said,
No,
Marshall. It's not as like I think City have got the actual like. I think this is going to be interesting with City.
What if City draw both?
I do believe, by the way.
Not that easy either.
Can you listen? I do believe that Newcastle will lose to Arsenal. Can we just see what the point tally looks like? I just want to see what it
It's
looks like.
69. Nice.
That's what I'm saying. So for me, no, I actually didn't even know that. But like, if you just look at it, right, all 3 teams right now will probably be on like 69 points. Legit. You have like 3, 4,
Yeah,
5.
Ahmed, do you want to like cool? Do you want to see something magic? Marshall, do me a favor. Put a draw for Bournemouth and a win for Fulham.
Draw.
They all go on 69. That's something that I was
Yeah,
saying.
it's so weird.
69.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we make it over Villa
Yeah,
on goal difference.
That's 69.
on goal difference. They would literally need to put like double digits past United.
Oh yeah, like and we
Oh,
have,
no,
like,
bro,
score, like, probably
it would
one
have
at the
to
minute.
be. It would have to be
And
a
win.
12-goal swing.
That's if us just scoring 1 goal, right?
Yeah, they'd have to win that United game 13-0.
Yeah, United, man. I might.
Yeah, they ain't doing
we
that.
might have to go fly over to Manchester if that happens.
They ain't doing that.
The Sarcasm, man.
Manchester,
My brick. My brick came
Manchester.
up for us, man.
Pause.
Respect the Sarcasm
What do
League.
you mean by
I
that?
don't think you. What do you mean by that, bro? What do you mean your brick, bro? What are you talking about?
Yo,
Him losing to
So
City.
you need to clear your bowels, brother.
Him losing to City helped us, man.
that's true.
I hope we beat like Forest, like I don't know, nice, comfortable, like two goals or 3 goals.
This is what I think is gonna happen. I think.
All right,
they
let's see.
lose
Let's
to
see it,
Bournemouth.
Marshall.
I think they
Okay.
lose to Bournemouth.
You think
Maybe,
they
but
don't
then-
get UCL?
Oh,
You
But that's-
crazy.
hang on.
God.
Hang on. Wait. I don't necessarily disagree. Didn't we just start this conversation and pull this predictor up by you saying I think City's a lock?
Oh.
No. I think
I
they
should
could
change
potentially.
mine.
Yeah, no, that's how it started. They could potentially
That's
drop
what-
out of
listen.
the top 5.
No, you
Remember
said you bet that they get. You said you were willing to bet money that they get it.
No.
Yeah, you said it was a lock.
They get it.
No. You said no. We're not
Minus
saying
one.
They're relatively safe. I just think they could lose.
We caught you in 4K, brother.
Yeah,
You
you
said it was a lock.
Okay.
Lock.
And they got you in 4K, bro.
Because I forgot.
Hey, people change, man. People change.
Because you know what happened is because now that I confirmed that Bournemouth still have something to play for, it did change my mind. Because I thought Bournemouth were dead out in the water.
They did
But
draw to
if
Southampton,
if
but-
we fuck up and we lose and we drop out to like what RSM said, drop to 7th and win the Conference League, then they get a spot. So
They
they're
do.
kind of relying on our downfall, but they have
And the
to
thing
win.
is, who are Fulham playing? If Fulham win their next game, by the way, like depending on
Well, I
other
think
results,
Fulham
they
are
still
out
win
of it,
with a
Fulham
chance.
play no Fulham play Brentford. So Brentford's also going to be fighting though.
Yeah,
I was
Brentford.
going to say, yeah. So basically, the winner of that Fulham Brentford game, like if Fulham beat Brentford, they go on 54 points. They still have
Yep.
something to play for
Yep.
because they can finish above those. Like
Everybody trying to finish for 8th. Everybody trying to finish 8th.
Yeah, they can still finish above them because they can. If they win and like other teams lose,
Damn.
There's still a chance. There's still a chance.
Got it.
but not like it's. I do think that on the City thing though, because I assume this was moving to the cup. Like they were shit today. Like they had a bit of luck against them with the handball and whatnot, but they were terrible. And I think you see, it was a few things. Number Pep did what he usually does, where he overthinks things. I don't know why the fuck you decided to play a midfield of Silva and KDB. Like, you're an idiot. Like, Silva's washed, by the way. He has had, like, I don't think it's been spoken about. He has had a cataclysmic fall off. Like, bro. This brother is washed.
Bro, he hit 30, and it was a fall off a cliff. It wasn't even a slow decline. It was a cliff.
He had that Ivanovic fall off, bro. Yeah. He had that Ivanovic Aspi fall off. Where,
But
brother,
he's been having it for 2 seasons, though. The thing about him, he's been doing this for 2 seasons. He was doing this.
But even last year he was decent. Like, last year he was good.
He wasn't. I would have to disagree, bro. He was not decent last season either. The problem with Silva was that he has been used like
Silva?
Yes.
Yeah,
he is like a complete version of Gallagher. I've said this before. Technically on the ball, the passing, the dribbling, place defending, right? But the thing was that because he could do all those things and keep everything ticking, keep doing that job really well and successfully, right? He got overused by Pep, and he's basically broken, bro. That's what happened to him.
I wouldn't say last season.
No, last season he was broken, and this season, he's become even. He's just like a broken toy still being used.
The way that team is composed is so bad. Like, and the thing is, some of it's down to Pep because like they invested on 2 players. They invested money in like good places. It's just like they I don't know what that's the problem. Doing. Like, I just don't know what Pep's doing. They haven't invested. Like, some of the players they bought aren't good enough. So they haven't really bought quality in some areas. Like, I expect them to improve. I like that Echeverry kid, by the way. He was decent when he came on. But yeah,
the problem with City. Now, the problem with City is that I think in previous seasons there was the financial ability. Yeah, it still exists right now, by the way. Right, to be able to get these players, was always like a big positive. But I think now more than ever, whenever you go through a rebuild, right, and there's also other teams going through a rebuild too, it becomes harder for you to complete that. And I also think attraction is also key, right? And I don't know if people are as attracted as they used to be to.
No, I still think they are. I think they are as long as I think they are as long as Pep is there. But I think it's like I don't think the issue is like attractiveness or like financial ability. It's more of a case of like who they've bought, right? Like, for example, they are well within their capabilities in terms of if they were to sell a few players, they're well within their capabilities to sign Wirtz, Bruno, that is, and like a Rodrigo. Like, if they sign those 3 players and they're well within their ability to sign all 3 players, that significantly improves their team in terms of different profiles. Like, you get Wirtz in to kind of replace KDB. Obviously, he's not the same type of player, but to replace the kind of creativity and whatnot. You get Bruno in to replace what Gundogan was giving you before he turned washed in midfield to anchor it. And obviously you got Rodrigo instead of the 2, like it's this particularly instead of Doku. My man, holy shit, he stinks. They've just bought like crap. Like, why are they spending 40 mil on some 20-year-old like Uzbekistani centre-back? Why are they spending on some 18-year-old centre-back who barely played like 12 games or whatever it was in Palmeiras?
Because
like, that's not quality.
Because no, but you know
what they did with Marmoush. Look at what they did there. They spent 80 mil on Marmoush. That was quality. He's got 7 goals since he came in the league, I think.
But the thing is, Scott, I think City's model is changing, bro. I think the City model of like them spending spending really big money on like big plays, I actually think has changed. It's all again, they're doing their own version of what we've done. They've been doing already before us, by the way, right? And that's the thing they've been doing. Like, obviously, if you look at their signings, Marmoush, all of these guys are really young. Like, they're in their 20s, right? So they are.
But it's not working. I think teams need to take a note of this. Like, and I think, like it's a stupid trend, bro. Like, it's a dumb trend.
I don't think it's a trend that
I think
wanted to get into. I think it's a forced trend.
No, it's not forced, bro. It's not forced.
It is forced.
It's 100% not forced. No, it's
Do you know why it's forced?
It's not
Let me explain
no,
to
it's
you.
not forced. No, it's not forced.
Let me explain to you why, Scott. Let me explain to you why, Scott. Yeah, I think the reason why is being forced is legit because of the transfer values of players now. That is genuinely the reason why. Like,
that's bullshit.
if we're being objective, yeah, the amount
No,
of money that's being required
no.
to sign some of the top players that you may want to add to your team.
No,
it's quite hefty,
Ahmed.
you know?
But like respectfully, that's bullshit. Do you know what? Do you know why I know that's bullshit? Hang on, let me just check something. Do you know why I know that's bullshit, right? How much did they sign this kid for? Bear with me 1 second. They signed him for oh my fucking days, bro. They spent 70 mil on Kusanov and Vitor Reese combined. 70 mil. That's 70 mil you can spend. Add a bit of money to that. That pays for Bruno. So no, it's not. It's not.
But the wages.
But think about that. But see, that's
no. It's not fees, bro. It's stupidness. Because Barca didn't do that. They just won a league title. Bayern not doing that. Won a league title. Like, who else? Liverpool didn't do that. Won a league title. It's a stupid trend that people don't have to do. People are doing it because they're trying to spend less money and trying to be cute with it. Cool. Your cuteness. What's it winning you? Fuck all. It's not doing shit. The only team that's done it, and it's because they've got an elite team builder, is PSG. It's the only team that's done it.
Yeah, but the thing is, yeah, you made the good point about, like, for example, Bruno, right? And like, if you added a bit more, I'd probably say around about 80 million or like 85 million would have gotten you Bruno, right? But then you add, obviously, like how much you have to pay him, probably like 200, 300. I don't know how much that adds up to over a certain amount of years, right? If you do like a 5-year contract, right? And you're just looking at £100 million package just on him, bro, right? The thing is, yeah, Victor Reese and I forgot the other brother's name, Kusanov, right?
Kusanov.
It may cost you 70 million combined, but realistically, you're probably paying 30 million and 30 million for each guy, right? And the wages are really low, right? You're probably only going to be paying them probably like 100k a week, 80k a week. You don't need to pay them that much money. If you listen, this is me just speaking from their perspective. If you look at the data, stuff that they're doing, they've got high potential. They can improve. You've got Pep Guardiola, the best coach in the world, who can improve players, right? You're thinking that's a much better method for me to be actually doing stuff rather than me going straight to the best in produce. And that's from their perspective. I know I don't agree with this, by the way, Scott, either. But at least, that is the way they are probably looking at stuff now, bro.
No, it's fair, but like I think it's stupid. Like I said,
I agree, it's stupid though. By the way, I actually agree.
The thing is, it's not the idea in terms of in moderation is stupid, right? Like, because I see people talking about some this comment. Oh, they did it with Victor Reese. Yes, he was shit. He now went back to Brazil. They did that with like a couple players.
He's actually back in Brazil.
Yeah, he's back in Brazil.
That is crazy.
They did him dirty, bro. They did him dirty. Bro,
there's a clip of literally, bro. No, Ahmed, it gets worse, by the way. It's worse, by the way. He's back in Brazil. There was a clip that went around. He missed a 1-on-1. Like, he's fruiting on goal and he literally fucks the 1-on-1 up. But yeah, like, you look at what they did there. Yes, they also went and bought Rafinha, and they also went and bought who else they getting? I'm trying to think who else they fucking bought.
They've gotten. Did you say Olmo?
Kunde, Olmo. There you go. Thank you. Who else they bought in? Lewandowski, obviously. Christensen. Obviously, they haven't spent fees on these players, so they can offer higher wages. But the thing is, like, I'm not saying that City are bad for doing this, because they've always done this to an extent, right? The young players. And like I said, I think it works in some places. Like, I like the Echeverry kid, like I said, when he came on today. I think that, like, Savio could be good. How have you got Savio and Doku? You finished the game with Savio, Doku, and Echeverry as your front as the three behind Hojlund. Mm-hmm. Like, in the back line, actually not necessarily in this game, but like, you got Nico Riley obviously in this team. You bought Kusanov, bought Victor Reese, bought Nico Gonzalez, who's like 22. Like, you keep buying these young guys, and the one guy that you bought that's performed above all of them is the main guy, the guy you spent 80 mil on, who was killing it, has a level of experience, has that quality. Why are we shocked?
But at the same time, though, like, I see what you're saying. I think the only outlier I can see, because this is just because lack of knowledge, is just pure ignorance on this one, is the Bayern model. But like, even the Barca model you're talking about, they're still in financial trouble. Like, are we forgetting like the whole debacle they had to do just to get Olmo? Like the players they had to get rid of.
just
Like,
That
Olmo
partial way
wasn't
has been
the-
revoked, by the way. I don't know if you
The
know this.
courts, yeah.
That's been revoked, by the way. So,
so like they're in financial trouble, and you look at how Real Madrid have been moving in the transfer window. Like they have been like their January transfer.
You know
window,
why?
Again,
It's the
over the
stadium.
radar.
It's the stadium. It's the
I
stadium.
was
They don't
right.
want to
I was
admit it.
right.
No, they don't want to admit
I
it.
was
But the
right.
stadium is pinning them down in ways they did not expect. Because the
Told you
fact
I
of the
was
matter
right.
is, by the way, they have tried to do a lot of events at the stadium that they thought were going to generate revenue week in, week out when they weren't playing there. And now and now there's a ton of noise complaint and all this other stuff, so they can't hold the same events they thought they could. And now the stadium is literally weighing them down like an anchor, which is why they're using the Real Madrid poll to make sure people run out their contracts so they sign them as free agents.
Marshall,
That's
by the way,
what I
like
was
I hear all of
saying.
this. But just going back to the City thing quickly, I could understand the point as well when it's like, oh, they want to try and cheat, but they can't afford to spend as much money, blah blah blah. I'd understand that in the Prem for any other team apart from City. They in 23-24, I'm looking at it now, they posted the second highest revenue in the world. I could hear that for nearly any other team apart from City. Because every team loses money, by the way. But
this is another
like
thing,
there's
is
two teams. There's two teams I refuse to hear this argument about they can't afford
But we
to
know,
spend big money.
we know why City be making money. They made record
Oh, no,
profit during the pandemic. We know why.
No,
You got sponsored by an airline during the pandemic. Okay, bro.
100%.
Okay.
So at the same time, it's like at the same time, it's also like until it gets proven, like there's nothing they can do. But it's like
not even. But it's not even
No. The thing is, hold up. It's never going to get proven. It's never going to get proven because the UK government is never going to want to put themselves at odds with what's going on with the people who control oil. So it's never going to be proven. But you got sponsored by an airline during a pandemic. I don't care what you want to sell me. I know what's going on there, bro.
100%. But also, like, all of this may be true, by the way. They're the only team in the last. So I'm looking at it now, from May/June of 2022 to 2024, they're the only Premier League team that posted a profit across those 3 years. They posted nearly £200 million across those 3 years. Like, them and Real Madrid, I'm not hearing this broke thing. I'm not hearing it for them and Real Madrid. Like, if they're doing foolishness, it's because they're morons. It's nothing to do with these two clubs specifically. Other clubs, different story. But these clubs specifically, I'm not hearing, oh, they can't afford to buy players. Then how are they buying Verts? Because Verts is going to cost them 100 mil.
I don't think it's that. It's not that. I don't think it's an affordability thing. I think it's a financial rule thing. That's why.
What financial rule?
You have PSR, FFP, all this stuff that has been implemented into the Premier League. And although I don't know much about it, none of us really know much about it unless we're on the inside. It's just like there's no open, and that's why I said this like in a previous stream. Like, I wish we can openly just look at what the PSR regulation and rules are, so there's more transparency as to why these clubs are necessarily moving the way they are. Because there's no surprise to me. Like, Sheikh Mansour isn't another Sheikh Mansour. Like, you could probably make the argument that, okay, Roman and now there's American owners, they just have a different approach. It's still Sheikh Mansour. So why is he changing his approach? There has to be a reason for it. Same thing with Arsenal. You look at how Liverpool.
It's because City got a lot of eyes on them, so they don't want to be moving suspicious.
The thing about City is,
they got money. They got money.
Again,
it's not about money.
They got money. And by the way, on the PSR thing, by the way, for Europe, I know it's a different ruling. I don't know how bad it is. For the Premier League, which is at the end of the day the bread and butter and what they should be doing, and this is kind of what we're discussing. I just told you the they over the last 3 years made a profit of 200 million. The PSR rulings, which are in place until the next season, end of next season, so 26-27 season, is they have to not make it. They can make no more than £105 million loss across 3 years. I've just told you they've made 200. They've got a £300 million swing.
The problem is, Marshall, you know what I think is also happening? I think a lot of these owners also are becoming stingy. Let's be real, Marshall.
I mean, that's true too, yeah.
Right? Also, I hate to put it like this, man, but the Americans have destroyed the sport once more. And you know what I mean by that?
Yeah. I saw that coming.
You should have seen that coming. But it also...
like I said,
the reason why I'm saying that...
I'd hear it. I don't hear it from City.
You add fuel to the fire, man, for the chat. You add fuel.
Listen, the reason why I'm saying that is because of a little movie, you know what I mean, called Moneyball.
Moneyball.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know
I know what you're saying.
Like, listen, you're seeing it, yeah. The thing is, yeah, this is not just like, yeah, a Premier League thing where a lot of these top clubs are doing this now, yeah. Even the NBA, the game I love, bro, they are doing that there too, bro. Yeah, because they're making the PSR and other stuff rule, right? Yeah, and everything like that quite harder too, right? Where they're just going through like the youth model there too. I just think for me, it's like it's becoming a lot more of a global thing where like the owners are becoming a bit more stingier. And I think because there's been now so much success stories, yeah, about people using Football Manager, people using the what's it called, Moneyball stuff.
They want Wise Scout, bro. They want exactly the way that the MLB. Yeah, they want the exact same system that the MLB uses, bro.
Like the game, like I feel like people do not realize that the game has changed, bro. Wise Scout, bro, is crazy. I've actually tried a full trial Wise Scout. I was like, damn, this has got too much information, bro. Learn Football Manager, bro. Football Manager, yeah. I always say it's ridiculous the stuff you can do in Football Manager and how it can relate to this real life, bro. Like it's almost one to one. Yeah, the stuff that you do in Football Manager to football. So for me, it's just a thing of like all of this stuff is happening. You're seeing all this stuff occur in general, right? So this is the way the sport is going. That's just the sad reality. You know what I mean? Like we're losing recipes, obviously, because we're not realizing that yes, you know, we should, whilst this stuff is happening, you have to still buy known quantities, known quality to improve the team. But that's not happening right now, bro.
It's an interesting scenario.
All I'm saying is, then I don't want to see no Verts, no Bruno, none of these big signings go to City. Otherwise, it don't make no fucking sense.
I don't think Verts is going to Man City, by the way. I'll tell you this right now.
No, that's cool. I'm talking no big signings, bro. I'm expecting more Kusanov.
Would you consider Cherky a big signing, for example?
Cherky needs to come to Chelsea. I don't care if Chelsea.
His ass is not coming to Chelsea, bro. He's not coming to Chelsea. He's not coming to Chelsea to do what? Okay. What is he doing? Coming Chelsea to hold bench? Give it up, bro. He's not doing that.
He's my 10.
When I say big signings, by the way, I mean in terms of financially, bro. Like if I see them make £80 million signing, it's not arguable. Like the moment they make an £80 million signing, which I think they do, this whole argument of they're broke, they're doing this model, this, that, and the other, this goes out the fucking window. Because the moment you make an £80 million signing, I don't want to hear no broke talk.
Then they sign like,
which is what they're going to do because they need to do that.
50 something million, like Marmoush and all that, like in the January.
They spent 80 on Marmoush and gave him 300k a week, but they're broke apparently. Like,
yeah, they spend like another 80 or so, 100 million on a pair. Yeah, like it's bullshit.
It also depends on the player sales too. Like, let's be real. Like, we'll see.
It's depending who they can sell, man.
Is De Bruyne going on a free or is he getting sold?
Like, how much?
No, it's free transfer.
Oh god,
that's a good point. Hang on. They're losing. They're about to lose 375 or whatever it is K a week off their wages, and they're fine.
Yeah.
No, I mean Scott brings up good points too. Which
by the way, Marshall, I didn't want to like. I was gonna say something based on what Ahmed said, and like I hate to kind of agree with Ahmed, but like when he talks about the American thing, like based on what I'm hearing about some.
I'm influencing the culture. I'm influencing the culture, man. Let's go. Man.
No, it's more. Now Ahmed runs the agenda. Like Ahmed runs the agenda thing. But like when I've heard, like I've been hearing more and more about how some American owners have like ran their football club.
Yeah,
it's bad, bro.
Listen,
like there's a reason, by the way. There's a reason that all I say is go and do your research. There's a reason why Strasbourg hate the American owners. And it's more than just they don't want a multi-club model.
I watched that video too, man. I was
like,
they fucked, bro.
Hey, I'll big up the channel again. I've said it before. Go and watch HITC's video on Strasbourg, and you'll understand why they hate this ownership group.
What? It's not the football reason, though, is it?
No, it's not. It's kind of footballing reasons, but there's a reason why they hate them.
Yes, it's a culture thing, in a sense. Like from what my understanding of this whole thing, because here's the thing. Banter aside, I see it. I see what you guys are saying about the whole Americanization of sports globally in general. I think the rest of the world have caught on that there's a lot of money to be made in sports that America has been doing for the past X amount of years. And now this, even if you're American, Saudi, whatever, I think the love of the sport is starting to go away for the profit of the sport.
Exactly.
And it is like Ahmed saying, Moneyball, and it is something that started. We could say American, you can say capitalism, but it's essentially.
I feel like,
yeah.
to be honest, these days I feel like it's one of the same because it's one that it's one that American. Listen, I always say, man, you got the steroids capitalism. Listen, capitalism exists in Europe. We do capitalism, but you guys do it
on America. It's another level. It's another level.
It's like you do on steroids, bro.
Everything's a profit in America.
I also think
that's why Crystal Palace and the Eagles won today.
Yeah, man.
But you know, one thing I will add, I want to give up.
Speaking of a fantastic American owner.
Oh my god.
But before I want to actually, I want to add something really quickly. I want to actually listen. Obviously, it's not just that. Obviously, just Americans just coming to the sport. I also think, we need to also realize. I think the effect that Football Manager has had on the sport is very big too. Like, we need to be honest about that too, man. Right? The effect FM has had on the sport is game changing, bro.
Dude,
right?
Stop.
What? That's not crazy.
I
think Ahmed's right. Like,
it definitely he's right about some. Wait, what do you mean though?
Go ahead.
Because like I think people don't realize this yet, but like FM is the way they actually do FM, the scouting, the players that it's able to scout. They have like certified scouts, by the way, all over the world, and this has been like since the early aughts, where they've been able to scout players and identify players before they've even been able to be to make stuff happen, right? And that is one of the main reasons as to why, like, if you look at like a lot of teams now, the way they do stuff, a lot of it is based on how FM does stuff, heavily scouting stuff, looking at players, watching their game time footage. You know what I mean? Making deals happen. The way this stuff happens.
Marshall, hold up. Have you never heard people say Chelsea's gonna be crazy in FM next year? Have you never heard people say that?
I've said that. How many times have I said FM Chelsea is gonna be insane?
It's gonna slap, I can't wait till FM 26 comes out. It's gonna be incredible.
Have you not?
Have you not heard, Marshall, that Buddy Shield is an FM legend? How many times have you heard me not say that before? People,
I've heard about Tillemans. That's about it.
No, Buddy Shield is an FM legend. Gusto is technically an FM legend because he was good the season before we got him on FM. He was one of the ones that FM recognized before it happened. There's a lot of guys that have just been recognized on FM before a lot of this stuff happens. That's the thing. Like
the reason.
It's because Marshall. The issue is when you have all this statistical data, they're looking at the underlying stats and they're looking at, this player's about to have a breakout season. And that's what Moneyball is.
I understand that, like, but are you okay? This is the part that, like, okay, let me. This is gonna sound so stupid.
Disgracia, TK.
This is how stupid it sounds to me. Are you telling me that the scouts at Chelsea are all buying a copy of FM
as well,
so that they can get their homework done? Essentially,
they don't need FM. They got Y Scout, bro.
They got Y Scout now. The
Yeah,
thing
but
is,
also
listen,
it's not.
FM
it's
is
not
like its own
necessarily like
database that you can use. Yeah.
So our scouts are going to be playing FM.
No. What you need to understand, Marshall. No, what you need to understand, Marshall, is that FM has its own database of stuff, right, which you can use. Yeah, and it's a great thing to help you out, right? The clubs have that. They have Y Scout. They have their own stuff. They have their own companies,
their own
data analysis. Which if you remember,
this is the part that baffles me. Like, is the FM database going to be more in-depth and more reliable and more deep dive accessible than an actual football club having their own database, doing their own research, hiring their own people that are
Marshall, yes, no, but I think I was going to say this is yes, but what you're seeing, and I'm only saying the people I know because obviously they're well known, but like Will Still, for example, he came from, like, he played Football Manager and then became a data analyst off of the back of playing Football Manager.
And that's the stuff I
was going to say. You're getting people coming to the sport and becoming like data analysts and getting into like the data departments of teams. Obviously not huge teams at the moment, but they eventually will. Who they come from Football Manager, like that's their roots.
Yes.
And so like that's the thing is like that's like
I get that, but like what I'm saying, like, does FM have the access to information as much as like an official FIFA, like, you know,
hold up. You know what it is? Hold up, Marshall. I think I need to. I think this is where we get caught up, right? A lot of clubs do not have the money nor the infrastructure to set up these scouting departments.
Yes,
so what they do is FM already has the scouts, and the scouts are collecting the data and compiling them. So it is literally a cheaper database than what you could produce yourself, which is why it is a useful tool. Because these other clubs that aren't big, massive clubs, right? Like basically clubs not in the top 5 leagues. This is what they're doing to get these talents and then sell them on to the top 5 leagues.
Okay.
Right? So Marshall, hold up. Marshall, right. So that's hold up. That's what was happening. Now the big clubs are like, fuck it, let's cut out the middleman. Let's buy them ourselves.
Because what happened was, if you look at,
You see what I'm saying? So they're saying, fuck it, we're gonna cut them in, we'll buy them ourselves. And why do you think Chelsea's investing a shit ton of money, by the way, to start the scouting program in Africa? Other clubs haven't peeped yet. Where did Lamine Yamal come from, bro? Where did his family come from?
Damn.
I'm telling you. You tell me, damn, but I'm telling you, there's a reason why Chelsea's doing this. And other big clubs are going to catch on because you are cutting out the middleman. That's what happens in America too, is capitalism, baby. Why let other people make the money you could be making yourself? Amazon, they stopped paying airplanes and other stuff. They started integrating everything into one system.
One thing is, I want you to do this. Do you know? I know you know this, Marshall. Right? If you look at a lot of the mid-table clubs, like look at the Spanish teams, for example, right? The Spanish teams used to be really good at this, where they used to, particularly the mid-table clubs, like Villarreal is a great example of this. Sevilla, Valencia, Real Sociedad. They are great at identifying players, from different parts of the world, or just from their own youth academies and stuff, right? Or different academies around the world, and then being able to take the talent part because they invested a lot more in their scouting departments, because transfer wise they're never going to have the money to be able to make that money up, right? It's the same thing that's kind of happened in the Premier League now, more so if you look at Brighton has done a great job, by the way, of just investing heavily into the scouting department, having a multi-club model that's allowed them to do what they need to do now, right? And that's been done by their own scouting, plus you having a natural database of like their own scouting, White Scout, and a bunch of other stuff. This is why, again, we talk about scouting now. Scouting now for the top teams now is becoming bigger. Becoming a bigger thing now, because if you look at the transfer market, Marshall, a lot of you're not gonna, these guys, because you're not getting them when they're maybe a lot younger, you are now paying what 80, 90, 100, 110 million, and I don't think the big clubs are now in the position of the new ownerships they've got afford to pay that now. Remember, that's something you've just literally been debating and talking about right now, literally.
But okay, on that, then is Football Manager so popular of a game that they can afford to continuously have these scouts, pay these scouts to do this?
Marshall, it makes a lot of money. Football Scout, bro. Football makes a lot of money, bro. It legit. Yeah, it makes quite a lot of money, bro. You got a Football Manager, you can play on your mobile, you can play it on the mobile version.
Also, you gotta remember, Marshall, by the way, this isn't an intensively, like they're not spending money on the graphics like that.
Yeah,
we played that for me.
I've not played. I've never played.
No, that's what I'm telling you, bro. The graphics are literally like DS, PSP level, like PlayStation 1, 2. They're spending all their money on everything other than that, which is why like they can make a massive profit. Because nowadays you see these video games, they make little profit because they're spending all the money, all the development on the graphics.
And they make half of them make shitty games too. That's the problem.
Shit. I've just had a revelation on this stream today. This is what happens when we beat United.
Yeah, we're talking about FM.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this is crazy. I didn't know any of this. I mean, it makes sense when you look at it that way.
I heard some
like,
stories.
if it's like, we're talking like Coventry or a Stoke City, like, or even like a poorer team. Like, let's talk about like I don't know, fucking Alianza Lima, or some whatever team, Moreira, Mexico and stuff. Like, yeah, it would make sense. Like, yeah,
or Mogadishu FC. Yeah, I get it, man.
Yeah, you cut out the middleman and go through that. See, you can find talents that way. Like, fuck.
Because remember, like, this is
I didn't know like FM that had that much in-depth scouting. Like,
but this is the thing, Marshall. Like, again, this is why I don't know if you notice, a lot of the Spanish clubs, the mid-table Spanish clubs have been suffering because they used to be the middlemen, bro. like particularly for South American football, those Spanish clubs used to be the middlemen. They used to bring these lads from South America, getting them to start cooking. And now a lot of them, if you look at them, they're not as good as they used to be.
Fair enough. Shit, I didn't know this. This is crazy. Well, fuck. Who would have thought?
Hey man, you know what they say, man? This is Casually FC. We're here to make you uncasual. So there we go.
I guess so.
By the way, that's what Independiente del Valle does. By the way, they use like Wisecout and all this other data stuff to look at the performances of players, and if the players performing very well, they start trying to sell them to European teams for loans or for sales. Like I think Caicedo was literally offered, I think at 19 or at 18 to Manchester United for like 5 M's, and Manchester United said no. But Brighton, because Manchester United didn't care about the numbers, like they literally said, I went up, said here are the stats on him. He's going to be a big player. United said we don't care, we're not buying him. But Brighton actually looked at the numbers and said, holy shit, there's something here, and there you go.
Well, I hope it works out for most of our players then. And I will say one.
Listen, man, Santos Nation, man, Santos Nation.
One final
Listen,
thing
man, I'm telling you right now. I want you to know right now, JC, man. Yeah, if you make UCL, I'm telling you right now, Leao's coming to Chelsea.
He is not, bro. Rodrigo to Chelsea, man. Rodrigo to Chelsea.
I'm telling you right now, yeah. You can say Ahmed Abdi's a terrorist. You know, I mean, listen. I come from a country where that is technically exists, but listen, but you know, I just want you to know, Bridge Nation, yeah. When I smell something, yeah, my sense of smell, my gut feeling is usually right. When Leon Nation happens, yeah, in 2 to 3 weeks, I'm just gonna be here and just tell you lads, that's what I'm gonna be saying.
You say you're normally right.
Usually.
I don't know, man. The crashing out you was doing in the transfer window because you was wrong. Like,
I'm always losing.
yeah, like
Listen, man. Every time I win,
sometimes you're right. Yeah, you hit and then you miss. Like sometimes you miss hard.
The game is the game, man. You win some, you lose some. Until next one.
You lose all the time.
So do you, Scott? Hey.
One final thing I did want to bring up before we close out the stream, because it's been a good stream. Mateta. A lot of people are talking about him. A lot of people are saying proper number 9. We should be looking into him. As a Chelsea fan, do you entertain talks from Mateta?
Yes.
I'd swap him for Jackson, base. Not like obviously straight swap, but like sell Jackson and get him with us.
I don't see him as like a number 1, but as like
I don't know if he'd be good enough for number 1 because how many goals he got this season? Like 14. I think he scored 14 in the Premier League.
I'll check.
I'm not too sure. Obviously, like his ability on the ball and everything is great. Like I've seen, but like I don't want to just like put him in that situation. He has to be number 1 striker at Chelsea. I still want, obviously. I think everyone here probably says the same. Obviously, get an Oshman or something first. But I wouldn't mind him being in the squad for sure. Like, that'd be amazing if we can get him and Oshman or something.
Does anyone disagree?
No, I don't.
John Fleet is too old for the club for the team, I'm afraid.
27.
That's it, man.
That's not too old, man.
Let's look at the stats.
Again, for Chelsea FC, man.
Hey, we got Tosin, man. How old is he? 27.
35 appearances, 14 goals, 2 assists.
On a free though, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is he on penalties? I don't even know. That's a good question, actually.
No, Eze is.
Eze's
no, I think he is, isn't he? Like
he missed a penalty recently. I know that.
I don't know. Like I don't watch I don't watch him like that much.
Nobody watches Crystal Palace, bro. Come on, let's be real. Nobody watches Crystal Palace. But
I know he's had a very solid season though.
I think he's had a solid season, but I don't know. I don't know. Like
there could potentially be 9 teams in the Prem in Europe.
Wait,
there's no way. How?
Wait, 9?
Oh, in Europe.
Yeah, not
in Europe.
Not, yeah, like I mean, there'd be 5 in the Champions League, right?
Yep. 2 in Europa, 1 in conference, and then the 2 that are at the bottom of the table, Palace and whoever wins United Spurs.
Yeah, they qualify for Europa League, Palace now, don't they?
Yep.
Happy for that, too.
And whoever and United Spurs are getting UCL, so there's gonna be 6 teams.
Maybe they get chill one, man.
From Prem in the UCL, 2 Europa, 1. If that's by the way, that's if we finish 6th or 7th. If we don't, then it can't be 9.
9 would be too much, man. 9.
What about if we finish in the Champions League?
Then the Conference League spot got eaten. The Europa spot got eaten by the FA Cup.
I mean, we're most likely getting.
So now, so instead of 8th being conference, 7th is conference, 6th is Europa, and then it's the UCL teams. mean, it's literally what happened to us. United got the FA Cup, going through the Europa spot from us.
That was a piss take. That was.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, fuck. That's why I was so happy when City lost this. Fuck them, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can order again, man. They're like Chelsea. They're becoming Chelsea.
Bro, please. I'm telling you, football needs to see Pep in Europa, man. We need it. We need it, bro.
Uncle Pepito in Europa, man.
If that happens, that's nuts. I mean, that's
I'll be eating good on that one. I'll be honest, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Everybody eating good. We eating good, bro. Showing up to my ops funeral to make sure he dead, bro.
That'd be just another 3 winner. What'd you say?
Pepito, man. Uncle Pepito in there, man. Oh my lord. You know what I mean? When he's got his hands in his face here against what's it called? Bodo Glimt.
Against Bodo Glimt. Yo.
Let's not laugh, man. I'm not laughing at all.
Sorry, no, when he's coming out in press conferences, like, trying to big up Bodo Glimt, you know, when they battered like 7-0.
He's like tough game. You know they're top their league, right?
It's a tough game.
You know what I mean? When he has to face FC Noah, man, you know what I mean? Or like, what's it called? Servette, man. Servette Nation, bro, in the Europa League. Oh my lord.
I'm telling you, bro. Lord. I stopped by one of my biggest haters' funerals today just to make sure he was dead, bro.
Oh my goodness.
me watching Pep in the Europa, bro. I'm telling you, man. Cinema.
Who have they got in the last 2 games? They got Bournemouth and.
They got Bournemouth and Fulham, bro.
Why do you think?
They're coming off an L in the FA Cup.
You know.
Marshall, why do you think I was saying on the American Waffle group chat, let's delay the show till Tuesday?
No, I thought you really wanted to watch wrestling, bro. I ain't gonna lie, because I was like, well, all the games, there's no one playing.
Nah, bro.
No,
that's why I know.
Nah, Amin wants to show up to the Vader funeral.
I need to show you. We need to show up to like a double whammy funeral, man.
Bro, if Man City lose against Bournemouth, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna look very sketchy for them. That's why. Like,
No,
It's true, bro.
To think is to believe. That's what I'm saying, man. What are you saying, Chris?
They drew to Southampton.
They drew to Southampton.
That is a game you think like everyone could just walk there and get like a few goals and just like, yeah, we got 3 points from Southampton.
Football is footballing, ladies and gents, and Bournemouth have something to play for. Like I said, they're preying on our downfall essentially.
Bournemouth and Fulham are going to be playing for Europe potentially.
Yeah. So, listen, we got the win. We got one more win to go, and I think we can do it. I mean, before we close out, let's just go across the panel. Percentage chance, 100 out of 100, obviously. Chances of, because someone asked before, chances of Chelsea beating Nottingham Forest. I'll start with you, Chris.
As I said, I've been right all the way up to here, basically. We'll beat Liverpool, we'll drop points to Newcastle, and we'll beat Man United, and we'll beat Forest. So I'm saying like 95% chance, 98% chance. We're doing it. Like, no, I'd be very surprised if we actually lose that game or draw it. I really will, because what we've done now, we can't drop our heads here.
We got, I ain't gonna lie. Like, there are players in this team that have shown me, especially with this United game.
Nah, you're joking. After what you've seen, like until now, like nah.
That's what you've been saying.
Also, hold on. I think people also have to take into account, because people did this for us, right? When we were in poor form. Like, yeah, but we're in poor form. Why would you expect us to win? So we're not gonna mention Forest poor form. They're coming in off all W's.
Our form's not bad.
Because Marshall's spitting though. Because people love to do it for us. They love to look at our form and be like, oh, we should be negative because look at our form. But when it comes to Forest, oh, they've been elite. No, bro. They were 10. People forget, hold up. Forest were 10 points clear 6 match days ago.
Yeah, I thought they were confirmed in that spot, I'll be honest. Like,
they're now 7th.
I'm glad they are out of the spot because they made it easier for
Ladies
us to get in there.
I've already been looking through the receipts. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got ahead of myself. I already started looking through the receipts. I'm getting ready to do the receipt screen. So some of y'all,
the receipt stream is looking
S. Yo,
S? Don't let me get started with S, bro. Don't get me started on S, bro. Don't get me started on S, man. Don't get me started on S, bro. The less said, the better. Nah, I still think that when it comes down to it, I think it's obviously gonna be a positive that Forest are at home, right? They're gonna have the crowd on their side.
We should do a quick thing here. Listen, this year, man, just quickly, a lot of guys are breaking their drought records in trophies, man. I can't lie to you, man. I was already predicting Spurs to win on Wednesday. I actually did it, bro. It might be.
I think
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully, bro.
I'm
I'm
hoping
gonna be
too.
so honest in that one, bro. It might happen
Onana,
this year.
Onana, I know you got something for me. Onana, I know you got something for me, man.
No,
Wait,
this year
does
might
anyone know
be.
if Son's available for that one?
Yeah,
He
he's
is.
gonna be available.
Bro, Son's gonna have the fucking match of his life. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, like the one time.
Son and Harry Kane winning a trophy at the same time,
Yeah, same year, man.
but not in the same
It's meant to
team.
be.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. It's meant to be.
Yeah. Okay, Scott. Percentage of us beating Nottingham Forest.
No, by the way, he's correct though. Like if Forest didn't drop points and they could settle for a draw, this game would be a lot harder. But the fact that Forest now need to go for a win makes it so that they can't sit back. However, that means we need to be careful and not fuck around and let them score early on us.
Yes,
definitely.
but
They
I
can't score
trust
first,
our
they can't.
defense a little bit more.
No, correct.
against
But what
their
I'm saying
attack.
is we need to
Yeah.
get, if we get that first early goal, we are cooking, bro. If we get the first early
Their
goal,
bread
we're
and butter
cooking.
this season has been that low block.
We can-
They can't
we
do
cannot
that.
show up.
We can expose
We
them.
cannot show up sleepwalking in the first 15 minutes of the game. I'm tired of that shit, bro. They need to show
we've
up
done
on
that
job.
a couple times now.
I think
We
this
need
team
to
will.
stop that.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Chris. Like, I'm worried. Do not do that. Maresca,
did
do
the
not
no
allow them
tackle
to get
and
on the
no
pitch and be asleep, bro. Do not allow
You know
it.
what's funny? So I was on Hassan and Murray's stream yesterday, and they were like, "Yeah, why is it that all George fans say the same thing?" Yeah, because they were like to me, what do you think you need to do to beat Nottingham Forest? I was like, "Yeah, I need my attack to wake up," and they were
Yeah,
like,
to do the
"Yes,
job.
and they were like, "Yeah, well, what is that? What is that like a tactic?" I said, "It's a tactic because they did not show up to play yesterday.
They were passive.
They were passive. I had zero IQ now."
Also, hold up. By the way, when we say they need to do a job, it means they need to perform to a 5 or 6 out of 10. That's what we're asking for. Just do your job. That's it.
One thing, yeah, I have to just also say, yeah, we need to stop doing tributes to Mudrick, man. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Tributes to Mudrick is getting crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? A lot of Rosettes action happening.
Yeah. By the way, Enzo, you better thank the Lord that was offside, bro. You better thank the Lord that was offside.
Yeah.
Because if that wasn't offside, but no,
That was
Ahmed saw
offside.
it, bro. I literally got out of my seat. I could not believe what I had just watched him do.
I didn't even say anything, bro.
Bro, I don't know if
screaming,
you were in
bro.
the stream when I said it. I thought that was a goal. I was already celebrating, and
You
then I
are
looked back and I was like,
troll.
"What the fuck happened?
No,
You
what
were
the fuck
celebrating.
happened?"
You're a troll,
I was
man.
driving, and I nearly
actually
crashed
troll.
my car, bro. I was like, "Yo!" What? I was already celebrating, and then I looked
Actually a
back,
troll, man.
and I was like, "Oh."
No,
what
he's
the-
lucky he's
what the
offside.
fuck
He's
happened?
lucky he's offside, bro. Because if it wasn't,
Nah,
Oh
man.
my
I'll
God.
be honest, man. I'm gonna be honest, man. Listen, Mudrik's not playing fast anymore. We still don't know what the B sample is talking about. It's been what the whole year now. One year, bro. We've had the season end, and we still don't know what's up with him. You know how crazy that sounds?
I told you, bro. That B sample got sent, bro. That B sample got sent to Russia, man. I know what they doing to him.
No way. But like, listen, that's fun. That's a little bit of funny. Big up to Mudrik, by the way. You know what I mean?
No, I'm giving us a 80% to win, bro.
Yeah, but
I
listen,
was gonna say the
against
same.
Nottingham Forest, 60
80%
40.
for Scott, too.
I'm gonna
I think it's
say
80%.
You were saying
60-40.
60?
60
for
only
us?
because yeah, 65 of course. Why do I say no? 60 65, something like that. You know what I mean?
All right.
Come on, we're winning, we're winning.
Yeah, I think
There's no
no,
way.
I think we 100% don't lose. By the way, I think this team is going to refuse to lose this game. I think the 80% it comes down to. I think we're going to create enough chances. That 20% is how clinical are we going to be on the day.
Yeah, here.
Bro, this is not the Forest
no
game.
luck
It's
there.
gonna be our Inter-Barca Champions League.
No, hold up. Hold up. No. Hold up. People aren't deeping that this game may decide the next 2 years of this project. By the way.
Oh yeah, it's big.
You know
This is-
what's funny? I was doing a meme on the stream, like 30 minutes until the season's over. It was like 0-0.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
this man's like 45 minutes to save the season. 30 minutes, 28 minutes. I'm like, bro, come on, man.
I'm sorry. I've been watching too much. Was it called Mission Impossible recently? they got the countdown timer. So I thought, you know what? Let's try it out, man. I was on
Dude.
Discord too funny now.
By the way, hold on. Yeah, that's crazy. By the way, nobody in the Prem. The last time that, like, barring the Ipswich game, right, where we did 2-2, no team has scored more than 1 goal on us since January, and that was the 2-2 against Bournemouth. With the Ipswich one, I get almost don't want to count it because the defensive errors were so egregious in that game. But bro, I'm looking at the results, bro. It's like they're not bad, man. 1-0 Leicester, you feel me? That's not a bad result. 1-0 Tottenham, 2-1 Fulham, 1-0 Everton, 3-1 Liverpool. Like we're a difficult team to score on. We are a difficult team to score on. Like Newcastle, like that's red card tag. That second goal, bro. It literally was like whatever. Even then, like that's what I'm saying. I believe that it's an 80% chance that we can beat Forest. We just need to show up and perform to about 70%, and that should be enough to beat Forest. It's that simple.
Like, literally, Lauren said this, and I can't agree more. Say whatever you want, but no one, probably not even the most optimistic fans in the world, gave Chelsea the smallest chance of winning that many games in this run. And even I didn't. I did. I swear to you. When I went through...
No, I did. I said, I did. Like, I said we'd beat Fulham.
When I went through my 72 point, why we're gonna get 72 points, I had like 2 draws in there, and then the loss.
Yeah, you were on crack.
No, I'm not.
Wait,
you were smoking something that day. You thought we were getting 72 points,
bro, and I'm not that far off from it. We got a win against Forest. We were at 69.
Yeah, like it's not like.
Marshall done a post a tweet that I just.
I said we're finished third, and I still doubled down on that shit, but
I wasn't too far off. And this was when we were like at 50, whatever, like 59 or 57. I don't remember how many points we were at the time. I gotta check, but yeah, like let me see this tweet you got here, bro.
After Fulham, this wasn't even the hardest run. Like I don't think.
You're ridiculous, bro. You're ridiculous.
Don't see, man.
Nah, I'm not promoting anything for Chilwell, bro. Fuck out of here.
What do you mean? No, post it, man.
Nah, fuck Chilwell. Nah, fuck Chilwell,
man. Why can't you be happy for Chilwell, man? Like,
I'm happy for Chilwell, man.
Maybe
Chilwell needs to leave this club.
Look at the way
Chilwell should have left the club in the summer. Facts. He should have left the club in the summer.
This FA Cup like boosts his price, man. We need to hope that FA Cup boosts his price, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
he can't even start for Palace, brother. Where the fuck else are you gonna play?
Yeah, get out of here, bro. But, okay, I'll predict, just to close out the stream. I'll predict. I'll give myself like a 75% chance. I'm optimistic, but I am also like what RSM said. I really need this team to like step up for the occasion, and in times when I've needed them to step up the occasion, they haven't. I really hope this isn't one of those times. So like that's the mentality aspect that makes me nervous. So we'll see. Our best team will be there. I want to see a Moises Caicedo halfway goal again. That'd be fantastic. Remember that last season against fucking, what was it, Brentford or Bournemouth? I can't remember. Bournemouth. You know, so I'm optimistic. I think we will win it, but you got to be careful. You can't be too careful with Nottingham Forest. But that's my chance. I think all of us pretty much are optimistic, but you know, in different variants. But yeah, that being said, that's the show, guys. We did 3 hours. Didn't mean to do that, but hey, we talked a lot of football.
Yeah,
a lot of football happened.
The Marshall's gonna be making $3. Back starts. Marshall should be making $3 USD. So I'm expecting 0.25 USD.
Not 0.25. This guy, man.
That's hilarious. But all right, boys, we're gonna wrap it up.
You know, I hope we get UCL play. I hope we get UCL play Milan, and you have to pay 60 quid. How about that? Fraud.
I'm not paying. I'm not paying. I just want you to know, man. Like, Red Nation is not willing to pay those type of fees, man. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, my heart is.
Oh, yeah, Milan even in the Champions League spots.
No, they're not. By the way,
they're not. Wait, they're not. Wait, they're not top 4.
Where are they, bro?
They're not in Europe. They're not even in Europe, bro. They're not making Europe this season.
Oh wow, wow.
Oh my God, bro! Look at that, man.
Yeah, man.
The Felix effect. The Felix effect, man.
Swap Sancho.
I mean, there's still games left, but looking peak.
There's 1 game left.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over, bro. It's over.
No, there's 2.
It's finito. It's Jova.
I thought there was like
game week 38.
Round 5th, 4th. Like
Oh yeah, there's 2 more. There's 2 more.
So tomorrow against Roma, which that's actually a deciding game. If they beat Roma, they can actually.
Don't worry, man. My boys in Roma. My boys in Roma are gonna handle that business, man.
They might be able to go. Yeah, they go over Roma if they beat Roma, and then they have. I just saw it. Then they have Como. I think is what I saw.
Oh, Fabregas, I need you to do something.
Monza.
Fabregas sensei. Let's go.
So yeah.
Fabregas sent this guy, man.
But it might be Europa. It might not even be UCL, to be honest. But all right, boys, we're gonna wrap it up. Ladies and gents, here's a raid message we're gonna raid out to Lee Gunner. Big up to every single one of you who smashed up the like. If you haven't done so already, do so, please. It helps out the channel tremendously. Big up to every single one of you guys in the panel. Also, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We do these types of shows once, twice, sometimes 3 times a week. Be sure to stay tuned, especially because in the summer we're gonna be going over transfer news and all that stuff. I will be going to Club World Cup games as well, so I'll be going over that as well. So a lot coming up on this channel over the summer as well. We'll be back again tomorrow with the Casually Chelsea show. I haven't done it in a while. It's been like a month. So guess what, guys? We're gonna go over a month worth of news. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just picking out what news I'm gonna go over and what's too old now to go over. But yeah, plenty of news to go over as well. Transfer news and all that fun stuff. We'll be doing that tomorrow. And yeah, then not Monday. When's our game? No, our game is Monday, right? When's our
Monday?
Sunday.
Next Sunday.
It's always a Sunday final game, huh?
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, ladies and gents, stay tuned for the content coming up. Also, big up to everyone who is a member. 4 different memberships starting at 99p. And if you are a member at the Casually, proper casual and higher tier, you get shout out at the end of every show. That's going to go out to Daniel, TM127, EE, Dark, Adrian, A. Solomon, the usual suspect. To you guys. But yeah, thank you for all the support, guys. Copy and paste the raid message over to Lee Gunner so he knows where you're coming from. And we'll see you again tomorrow for the Casually Chelsea show. As always, have a good night. Stay casual. Peace.
Okay,